NCAA football today from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. It's the Crimson Tide of Alabama against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Mutual of New York, money for the future, and by Midas and the more than 800 Midas shops coast to coast. They're specialists in mufflers and shocks. They have to do a better job. Ever since 1930, when the Notre Dame Stadium was built, football fans have kept their anxious eyes on this tunnel. This is where the players enter the legendary structure. Down through the years, some of college football's greatest have come right out of that tunnel. Today, for the first time in history, though, the Crimson Tide of Alabama will stream onto the field as they make their first appearance at Notre Dame and their first trip north of the Mason-Dixon line in 30 years. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Fleming, welcoming you to a big afternoon of college football here on ABC. The Crimson Tide of Alabama, 10th ranked in the nation, 7-2 on the season, against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, 18th in the country, 6-2 on the year. And obviously, both teams would like to have an invitation to a postseason bowl game. A win here today is most important. Back in a moment to look in depth at Alabama and Notre Dame.
I remember the day my father started saving for my college education. It was my 10th birthday, and he opened a savings account for $10. Brian, he said, "You're gonna have it better than me. You're not gonna have to stand on your feet all day just to make a buck. You do the studying, and I'll do the saving." He had it all planned. There was only one thing he didn't plan. He didn't plan on dying.
Sometimes the saddest thing about a man's death is to watch his dreams die with him. We at Money, Mutual of New York, understand how reluctant some people can be to discuss life insurance. But if you have children, you should talk to a Money representative about insuring their future. Because as painful as it might be for your family to go on without you, it would be even more painful for them to go on without anything. Mutual of New York, Money for the future.
If you were with us last week in Jacksonville for the Georgia-Florida game, we mentioned that Georgia had two quarterbacks, Ray Goff and Matt Robinson. Goff the runner and Matt Robinson the passer. Well, actually, Alabama has a couple of quarterbacks, each in a category today like that. Jack O'Rear is the running quarterback, and the passing quarterback is Jeff Rutledge. Now, O'Rear was hurt earlier in the week, did not practice very much, so Rutledge probably will be the starter here today. O'Rear is quite a runner. He, as a matter of fact, was the offensive star of the game in our nationally televised game when Alabama defeated Tennessee. Rutledge, the brother of a former quarterback, Gary Rutledge at Alabama, is a fine passer. Here he throws to Tad Flanagan, but he also has Ozzie Newsome, who is that home run kind of catcher. Now Davis, Johnny Davis, the fullback, is a bruising kind of runner. He is the leading ground gainer on the team, and every time he carries the football, he averages 5.7 yards. He is 228 pounds. He's a junior. And believe it or not, this man has not lost a single yard all year long. I particularly like this next run. Watch how many times they have a shot at him. But when he gets into the open field, he has that almost breakaway halfback speed. And he goes here all the way for a TD. Now, the Alabama defense is predicated on its two defensive tackles, Baumhauer and Hanna. And big fellas they are. Baumhauer on the left, 254 pounds. Hanna on the right, 244. They're both seniors. They both have had a tremendous amount of experience. Now the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame had a problem last week. They got licked by Georgia Tech, so they are 7-2 on the 6-2 on the season. The Irish have their best rush, I would guess you'd say, at quarterback in terms of passing. Rick Slaker has passed for over 1,000 yards this year and for 10 touchdowns. His favorite receiver seems to be the wide receiver Kelleher, but he also has McAfee, the tight end. I say favorite because in the last couple of weeks he has favored Kelleher with his tosses. It may have been because many of the defenses were keying on McAfee. And here is Kelleher. Each, strangely enough, has gained 325 yards in pass receiving. Now, Al Hunter is the leading ground gainer on the team. He's also the leading scorer. He's a man that will obviously be remembered by the Crimson Tide because it was in 1973 that Al Hunter took a kickoff and ran 93 yards against the Crimson Tide. Hunter is the kind of a runner that when he gets out into the open, he just kind of fluidly keeps on going. And so naturally, he's going to be a big threat here today. And he is the man that the Alabama defense was keying on all week long in practice. Now, as far as defense is concerned, you've heard, I'm sure, many times that Browner and Fry, the two defensive ends, are two of the best in the country. That is true, but strangely enough, the leading tackler on the team for the Irish this year is a sophomore, Steve Heimkreider, who will be playing at the outside linebacker spot. Watch him, because he's a great one. Well, in just a moment, we're going to be back to have a word with the opposing coaches today, Paul Bear Bryant of Alabama and Dan Devine of Notre Dame.
Foreign cars are fun, but...
Hi, I need a new muffler.
Where does it go? The glove compartment?
Muffler.
Poor ammazza, but you gotta leave the car.
Foreign car mufflers aren't foreign to Midas. We now stock and install mufflers on most foreign cars the way we've been installing them on American cars for the past 20 years.
I think I'll try Midas.
I was asked to talk about the incredible Black & Decker Workmate. There's almost nothing it can't hold. But the Workmate is so incredible, I'm going to let it do the talking. Workmate from Black & Decker, and nobody else.
You know, I think one of the most familiar figures in all of football is Paul Bear Bryant of Alabama. He stands by the goalpost with that hat pulled down over his eyes, that checkerboard hat. Well, he was a little bit different yesterday. Believe it or not, he showed up in a mink hat from Siberia because it was so cold here. And we had a chance to chat with him. Coach, obviously, it's kind of tough to bring a team up here where it's kind of cold to play football. Alabama hasn't done it in 30 years, so maybe that's the reason.
Well, actually, we're looking forward to it, Bill. I think the weather at home yesterday was worse than it is here today. I don't know what tomorrow holds, and of course, the condition of the field have a lot to do with it. We have artificial turf that we are used to playing on. As a matter of fact, the two games we lost this year was on regular turf.
That's interesting. Do the fellas get, their hands obviously get cold. Is there any special strategy you use, let's call it cold weather football? In other words, not fancy ball handling and stuff like that.
Well, first of all, I talked to people that playing cold weather, and we have everything we could buy to keep warm with, and maybe a branch fire out there, anything to keep warm with. And I remember back in Kentucky, though, we played in Knoxville, and it was 8 degrees and it was snowing, and the player was they were so cold, I was afraid to substitute because I was afraid that they wouldn't be warm enough that they could operate. I they'd break a leg or something. But this is quite an experience to come here and just to see Notre Dame, see the dome, and see the place that great names like Rockland and Gipp, and of course Precision and Leahy and all of them. And we're looking forward to it. And the weather, I don't know whether the weather had anything to do with it or not.
Well, it's a little bit warmer today, so the Bear will have his usual hat on, simply to shade his eyes from the sun. Well, we also talked to Coach Dan Devine of Notre Dame. Coach, there are many people who feel that perhaps Notre Dame has an advantage over Alabama in that these players from the Crimson Tide have never, ever experienced anything like coming into this Notre Dame stadium.
Well, Bill, the weather is probably a factor that most people have talked about, but really it's tougher for a northern team to go south than it is for a southern team to come north. I've seen many southern teams come north and play great football games, like, for instance, California teams coming to play the Vikings in sub-degree weather. See, we're up in the 30s or 40s. This is good football weather. So,
well, what about emotionally, though? I mean, do you think it would work against a team like Alabama coming into a hostile camp like this?
No, they're used to that. Actually, they'll probably get so hot, they'll be so charged up, they won't even notice the weather.
You know, you're going to be coaching against a legend, really, in the coaching profession, Bear Bryant. Do you think about that at all as you look across the sidelines and see him scratching his head and planning strategy and mayhem for Notre Dame?
No, I really don't, Bill, because I've coached against Bryant before and Wilkinson, and really I think I've been fortunate being in both college and professional football. I think I've coached against all the great coaches like Paul Brown and Reed Eubank. Everybody in the last 25, 30 years, it's been a great experience for me to coach against these people.
But you don't plan your own strategy based on the coach that you're playing against?
Well, if I did, I'd base it on what we did before when we played Bryant, but this is a different situation and a different
That
team.
turned out well.
Well, yes, it did. We were a 21-point underdog and won 35-10, so hopefully we could repeat something like that again.
Well, here's the moment that everybody waits for, that is a Notre Dame fan, the victory song, the fight song of Notre Dame. And the stirring victory march of Notre Dame. And as the stadium fills, we'll be back in just a moment.
George and I fell in love with this place on a day just like this one. We worked hard fixing up the cabin, and even though we only used it on weekends, to us it was home. I never thought we'd give it up. Then I never thought George would die.
Even if your family should lose you, they shouldn't have to lose all you've worked for. Talk to us about your life insurance needs. Mutual of New York. Money for the future.
We armed a car with peak antifreeze and coolant and sent it to a spot colder than International Falls, hotter than Death Valley. The weather room at a Wiley Laboratories facility, where Peak protected in paralyzing cold at 50 below zero against freeze-ups, against boilovers at temperatures of over 160 degrees. You can't buy better protection for your cooling system against heat, cold, rust, and corrosion than Peak. For Peak protection, buy Peak.
And so the stage is set for this first ever battle in the Notre Dame Stadium between Alabama and Notre Dame. And from the Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana, this has been College Football Today. This is Bill Fleming inviting you to join Chris Schenkel and Ara Parsegian and me for ABC's exclusive telecast of the battle today between the Crimson Tide of Alabama and the Fighting Irish.
Sunday, George C. Scott is the man who became the legend, Patton.
NCAA college football. Today's game, the Crimson Tide of Alabama versus the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. For the first time in a regular season game, Alabama clashing with Notre Dame. The Sports Exclusive is brought to you by National Semiconductor Digital Watches, Calculators, and Video Games. By Texaco, on behalf of independent Texaco retailers who are working to keep your trust by offering top quality tires, batteries, and other accessories. By Metropolitan Life, for the future is now. And by the real goodness folks at Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's finger-licking good. 35 degrees
in South Bend, Indiana, as we look at Alabama's record. Only 2 losses. They are ranked 10th in the nation, and for the first time, they have come north since 1946. And Bear Bryant, the legend, walked on the Notre Dame turf for the first time yesterday afternoon. He has played Notre Dame twice in postseason games, losing them both. First in the Sugar Bowl, seen here on ABC, and then in the Orange Bowl. Football tradition at Alabama beginning in 1892. And we look at the Notre Dame record. They are home for the first time in 4 weeks, the Gold and Blue, with 6 wins and 2 losses. And after a stunning upset by Georgia Tech, they're trying to regroup their forces after that surprise. They lost to Pittsburgh right here. Pittsburgh now #1 in the nation. As you see, they shut out Purdue, Northwestern, and Oregon. So they do have a defensive staff. It's a beautiful day in northern Indiana, and I'm Chris Schenkel welcoming you to a long afternoon of exciting football coverage. A football doubleheader and more. First, let me talk about the doubleheader. At 4 o'clock, or after this game on the Prudential College scoreboard, we'll be going to War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas, as we have the 14th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks hosting Texas A&M. Last year, Arkansas defeating the Aggies, putting them into the Cotton Bowl with a victory over Georgia, and the Aggies are still sitting. Well, here the partisan crowd, 59,075 at Notre Dame Stadium, the bastion of college football, in white with the crimson trim. That is not necessarily an unfriendly welcome, but it just proves that there are only 5,001 Alabama fans in this huge crowd on this perfect fall or early winter afternoon. They're playing on the natural grass here at Notre Dame Stadium, much to the liking of most coaches and probably more so to the players who play the game. And the leprechaun flag, well, yes, it's here in full force, as he is, live and in color. The doubleheader, Arkansas and Texas A&M. That'll be at 4 this afternoon Eastern time. And I said more. Harvard and Yale in that traditional game being played this year at Soldier Field in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Video and audio cut-ins throughout our game here at Notre Dame. Plus, we'll be going to Pitt Stadium in Pittsburgh. #1 Panthers hosting West Virginia. It's a rivalry that's been going on for years, and West Virginia hopes to upset the #1 team, just as we had happened in Indiana last week, Purdue over Michigan. We told you that Alabama was defeated twice in bowl games, both coached by Ara Parsegan, and now the Notre Dame team, and look what they have to come through, ladies and gentlemen. You don't think you need pads? Now, the fans are giving them all the room they need to get those big, broad shoulders through and onto the field, led for the cheerleaders, and listen to the fans. (24-23) was a memorable night, 1973 for us at Tulane Stadium when Ara Parsegan brought his Fighting Irish in there to meet Alabama. Let's relive it now. There is Ara Parsegan, completing 11 seasons here at Notre Dame, so extremely successful. His team was leading by 1 point in that last night of 1973. And here you see Tom Clements about to preserve the 1-point victory. That was in 1973. The following year, Ara took his team to eke out a 2-point win over Alabama, also in the Orange Bowl. And Ara, you must have fantastic memories of the Sugar Bowl.
Well, Chris, it probably was one of the most memorable moments in my entire coaching career, and something I'll remember the rest of my life. I enjoyed every bit of it, too.
I'm sure our viewers will agree with me that I've never seen you look so relaxed and healthy.
Well, I'll guarantee you this, if I was down on the sideline right now, my stomach would be all knotted up, but I'm going to enjoy doing the work with you.
I mentioned the natural grass here, and I know you've been a great advocate as a playing surface.
I really have, Chris. I feel that natural grass is the best kind of grass to play on. I have never favored the synthetic surfaces, although when the weather is really bad, then of course it's very useful. But I resisted the installation of synthetic surfaces while I was here, and of course we still have grass, and I think we're going to see a great game on a great day.
Alabama has won 5 straight.
Yes, they have, and I'll tell you one thing, they're staying with the wishbone. They'll break it once in a while. They're a sticky defensive team, and one of the things about Barrett Bryant, he's been around a long time, 32 years, he's sort of unpredictable. You're going to have to watch. We did the Tennessee-Alabama game about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he started Calvin Culver at fullback and started O'Rear at quarterback. Today we may see Calvin Culver at left halfback and Rutledge in at quarterback with Johnny Davis back at fullback. So, you know, you never know about the Bear. He's liable to change things, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Thank you, Earl. We look forward to your comments, and we welcome back to his native state of Indiana our colleague, Bill Fleming.
Ladies and gentlemen, the players to be introduced today for Alabama are all seniors. At split end from Layton, Alabama, number 87, Tad Flanagan. At fullback from East Bruton, Alabama, number 33, Calvin Culver. At running back from Birmingham, Alabama, number 35, Rick Watson. At offensive tackle from Monroeville, Alabama, number 50, K.J. Lazenby. At offensive guard from Lomita, California, number 75, David Garaminchuk. At center from Warner Robins, Georgia, number 52, Sid Smith. At defensive end from Mobile, Alabama, number 85, Paul Harris. At defensive tackle from Albertville, Alabama, number 51, Charlie Hanna. At middle guard from Dothan, Alabama, number 68, Gus White. At middle guard from Mulga, Alabama, number 69, Colenso Hubbard. At defensive tackle from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, number 91, Bob Baumhauer. And the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Paul Bear Bryant. And now, the starting offense for Notre Dame at tight end from Brockton, Massachusetts, number 81, Ken McAfee. At left tackle from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 78, Harry Webkenberg. At left guard from Cleveland, Ohio, number 66, Ted Horansky. At center from Dallas, Texas, number 56, Dave Huffman. At right guard from Boise, Idaho, number 65, Ernie Hughes. At right tackle from Seattle, Washington, number 71, Steve McDaniels. Wide receiver from Ellensburg, Washington, number 80, Dan Kelleher. At left halfback from Greenville, North Carolina, number 25, Al Hunter. At right halfback from Villa Park, Illinois, number 26, Ted Doman. At fullback from Richmond, Indiana, number 32, Vegas Ferguson. At quarterback from Columbus, Ohio, number 11, Rick Slager. And the right end from Memphis, Tennessee, number 94, co-captain Willie Fry. The head coach of the Fighting Irish, Dan Devine. So those are the lineups for today's game, and we'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Make a weekend of football and fun even greater. Invite the Colonel and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Look at this is cooking, it's a meal. Real good is from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Today, Adversary presents Ilan Nastasi and his opponent, Ray Owens.
Halt.
What?
There we go.
Oh, I missed it.
Concentrate, Ely, concentrate.
Tennis, hockey, and handball. Adversary, a very challenging game from National Semiconductor.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's game, Mr. Nastasi. Thank you. It's only a game.
Tonight, the battle of the network stars as ABC, NBC, and CBS compete not for ratings, but for first place on the athletic field.
I've never had such stage fright in my life.
I feel good. I feel clean. I think we're going to do it. I think we got the championship this time.
But this is it, baby.
Tonight on ABC.
A westerly wind here in South Bend, Indiana. Notre Dame has won the toss. They elect to receive as Notre Dame and Alabama meet for the third time, first time in a regular season game. And here in our booth, there are Farsigian up here high above the sidelines, which he roamed. We have an opportunity now to set the offensive line first for the Fighting Irish. Number 81 from Brockton, Massachusetts will be Kim McAfee. Webkenberg of Cincinnati, Ted Horansky of Cleveland, and you get an opportunity now to see them without their helmets. There is Ken McAfee, whose dad played at Alabama and with the New York Giants. There is Harry Webkenberg of Cincinnati, Ohio, a junior. Ted Horansky from Cleveland, Ohio, a sophomore. David Huffman, 56, is a sophomore center from Dallas, Texas. Ernie Hughes, number 65, a junior from Boise, Idaho. Steve McDaniels, a junior from Seattle, Washington. And the man that will be catching passes this afternoon, I'm sure, is Dan Kelleher, number 80, from Ellensburg, Washington. And now the backfield for the Fighting Irish from Greenville, South Carolina, number 25, who's going back in a kick formation now, Al Hunter. Here's a better look at him. He'll be joined in the backfield by a freshman, surprise starter, Vegas Ferguson of Richmond, Indiana. Tom Doman, a sophomore, number 26 from Villa Park, Illinois, in the backfield for the Fighting Irish. And the quarterback, a senior from Columbus, Ohio, Rick Slager. Bucky Berry now will kick off for Alabama from right to left into, about a 10-mile-an-hour wind. Al Hunter is looking at it over there at the 10-yard line for Notre Dame, coming out to the 15, the 20, cutting back and getting out to the 24-yard line. So the Fighting Irish in the dark blue jerseys, gold helmets and pants, of course, a tradition, will try to move the ball from the 24. Now an opportunity to look at the Alabama defensive unit. Bruce Hodges, Baumhauer, Gus White, Charlie Hanna of the famous Hanna family, three great footballs from it, players, and Paul Harris. Now they come up there in about a five-man line with the middle guard practically on the nose of the center. With a wing to the far side for Notre Dame, 1st and 10. And their number one rusher, Ara Parsegian, Al Hunter, gets the first call.
Yeah, and Keith, interestingly enough, Dan Devine has decided to start Vegas Ferguson at fullback, number 32. This is a switch. He's been playing halfback, and he'll be in there. He's about 6'1", 194 pounds, but he's a freshman. First time that he started in the game.
All right, after a 2-yard gain here at Notre Dame, it's 2nd down and 8 at the 26 for the Fighting Irish. No score. Second play of the ball game. Tom Doman to the right side of the field. And the pass goes to Ken McAfee. And McAfee battling for all the yardage he can get. The junior from Brockton, Massachusetts, All-American last year. Murray Legg covering defensively. He's number 19, the strong safety for the Crimson Tide. First down for the Fighting Irish.
Chris, this Ken McAfee, some kind of football player, and his dad was an Alabama player himself.
All right. Handsome young man playing for the Fighting Irish. Dan Kelleher to the left. Hunter steps up as a wing just outside the left tackle. And great play calling here, Ara. Notre Dame really going to the air and moving it. They are in Alabama territory.
What they're doing, they're going to a double wing. Alabama does not have anybody in the weak side flat. And as a result, there's an opening there. We may see a change in the Alabama defensive coverage on this drive.
Alabama allowed only 5 touchdowns in the air this year. Their defensive unit, an average of 87 yards a game. So now from the 44 of Alabama, first down, no score. Carrying on the play, Vargas Ferguson of Richmond, Indiana, a freshman, number 32, playing the fullback today. Alabama linebackers playing here defense at this moment. There you see him. We have Dewey Mitchell, 61. We have number 92, Ricky Gilliland of Birmingham, Alabama. And in the backfield, Allman, Tucker, Legg, and Kramer. So now it's a 2nd down and 5 at the 39. No score. And there's that great end. Ken McAfee inside the 15 of Alabama. Tucker brought him down, and what a pass.
On target, McAfee just came straight up the field, broke in between the two defenders. Take a look at it here. Here's a replay of it. McAfee will just release off the line of scrimmage, comes straight up the field, and Slager puts it right in the numbers.
The double wing again. 3 passes, 3 completions, 55 yards. Vegas Ferguson carrying on the play for a couple of yards from the Alabama 14. This drive started, if you just joined us, at the Notre Dame 24 following the opening kickoff, and now the Fighting Irish, underdogs in this game, have moved the ball inside the 15. Let's call it the 12 now with a 2nd down and 8. To the far side is Dan Kelleher, number 80, split away. Doman is the wing to the near side of the field for Notre Dame. A pass intended for number 32, the freshman. Ferguson is batted down by number 61, Dewey Mitchell, and number 91, Bob Baumhauer, was there covering for the Tide.
They put a blitz on that time, Keith. They anticipated a pass, Of course, Dewey Mitchell blitzed from the left side linebacker and put pressure on Slager. And, of course, it was an incompletion with a knockdown.
Right up over the ball now is the center for the Fighting Irish, Dave Huffman, on a 3rd down and 8 from approximately the 12. Listen to these Notre Dame fans. Slager. Dan Kelleher, the intended receiver. The pass was wide, so it's going to bring up a 4th down as Phil Allman was covering defensively for the Tide.
You know, interestingly enough, Keith, Ken McAfee caught the first 3 passes in the Georgia Tech game as well. So he's off to a good start again.
Now we have a field goal try by Dan Reeve for the Fighting Irish on a severe angle by the hash marks. It's a 29-yard try. The kick is up, and it's no good. So the Irish, who moved the ball beautifully from their own 24 to the 12, as Mike Kramer put a tremendous rush on. So with Alabama now taking over at the 20-yard line, it'll be a 1st and 10, and the officials today, Bob Fallon, the Big Ten referee, conferring with the others. We look at Lesensky, who is from Monroeville, Alabama. Here's the junior, Lewis Green from Birmingham. He's up front, along with the center, Terry Jones, a junior from Sandersville, Georgia. Dave Gersonchuk of Lomita, California, is a senior. Number 63, Jim Bunch, is from Richmond, Virginia, a freshman, and Ozzie Newsome is a great pass catcher. So from the 20, 1st and 10 for the Tide, and Jeff Rutledge, the starting quarterback, moves it out for a 1st down.
And Rutledge is not supposed to be the runner that O'Rear is, but he's certainly off to start there, isn't he? And
here's the backfield. You're looking at Calvin Culliver, a senior from East Bruton, Alabama. Johnny Davis, they call him Bull, from Montgomery, Alabama, a junior. Pete Cavan is a junior from Thomaston, Georgia, number 20. Number 15, a junior, Jack O'Rear, is not starting. It's Jeff Rutledge, number 11, a sophomore from Birmingham. Rutledge, whose brother Gary played against your teams, Era.
Right, Pete, and my apologies to you. I've been working with Keith Jackson and Keith and Chris, very similar.
That's all right.
I'll get it right.
That's all right, bud.
Okay, touche.
Era, it's great to be with you. I don't care what you call me. I'm a fan of yours. With a 1-yard gain out to the 42, it's going to be a 2nd down and 9. We have about 11 minutes and 50 seconds as you look at the defensive line. Browner, Dyke, Golick, Calhoun, and Fry, and they are mighty good, and they're extremely fast and big. Johnny Davis carried on that play, got up near the 44, be a 3rd down coming up. Haim Cater, number 58, the linebacker, a sophomore from Cincinnati, was in on the stop.
Keith, one of the reasons, I don't know that's a reason, but Jeff Rutledge is by far has better passing statistics than Jack O'Rear, and we may see him put it up right here on 3rd down with about 6 or 7.
Ozzie Newsome, number 82, way to the right, or it'll be at the top of your screen right now, on a 3rd down and 7 for Alabama from the 44. And they stick with the wishbone and bring it out to the 49, and that's not enough for a 1st down, Era.
Well, Chris, they try to surprise him in there. They figured that Notre Dame would be in a defense to stop the pass, and they try to slip Johnny Davis in there. He just came up short about half a yard.
Rod Nelson, the punter, has averaged 36.6 yards a kick. Ted Bergmeyer is deep, number 18. He's looking at the ball. It's going to the far sideline. And a little more than a 20-yard kick. That is a break for the Fighting Irish, who will snap it at around the 30 as we'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after this.
Chevrolet announces a $200 cash bonus direct from Chevrolet on every new Chevy Vega and Chevy Chevette. Delivered from stock by January 10th, 1977, or ordered by December 10th, 1976. This $200 cash bonus applies regardless of purchase price agreed on at dealership. It can be used against the down payment, or a check for $200 will come to you from Chevrolet. So see your Chevrolet dealer now for a $200 cash bonus on Vega and Chevette.
Once there were 2 drivers, the not-so-smart driver who never got a tune-up, and the smart driver who got better gasoline mileage because he'd see his wise friend, his independent Texaco retailer, to get tuned up, checked out, even taken for a test ride. But the not-so-smart driver ran rough and ate up fuel. Finally, he just conked out. Don't be a dumb bunny. Save money and trouble. See your independent Texaco retailer.
Blue sky above South Bend, Indiana, and more particular, Notre Dame Stadium. 59,075 watching as Notre Dame now gets its second opportunity to try to score. First and 10 from the 30 following a 21-yard Alabama punt. No score in the game with 10:43 left in the first quarter. There goes Al Hunter. Al Hunter, who has 11 touchdowns total this year, was stopped by Charlie Hanna, 51, and Dewey Mitchell, number 61. There you see his total yards rushing, 725, 10 touchdowns rushing. He has caught one touchdown pass, and would you believe this? He threw a touchdown pass. So with the ball at the 34, it's a second down and 6. No score in the game. The freshman Ferguson carried on the play. Knifing across the 35 to about the 37 as we look at Jeff Rutledge, the sophomore who has thrown 5 touchdown passes this year, has had 6 interceptions, completing 56% of his passes. He's a native of Montgomery, Alabama, and the starter today.
The Alabama team, Chris, had to be rebuilt defensively. Bear only had about 3 or 4 of them back, and I think they've really improved in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Ferguson now is out of the lineup for Notre Dame. Slager gives the ball to Hunter, who finds a hole. Hunter keeps going. Paul Harris made the tackle, and that's one of the pretty runs of the year.
It really is. Al Hunter cut that back. He's carried the ball 164 times this year. He's by far the leading ball carrier with 725 yards, and he's really a workhorse. He cut that back beautifully. Got some good blocking at the point of attack by Ted Horansky pulling through the hole.
37-yard gain on the play. Out over the ball now is the center, Dave Huffman. Steve Orsini is in the backfield for Notre Dame as we have a double wing formation once more from the 26. First down in Alabama territory. And Hunter leaping over number 34, Phil Allman, and getting inside the Alabama 20.
And Al Hunter also has 11 catches. What Notre Dame is doing, they're in a double wing, and no one is covering the second receiver on the side, so that they've hit that pass 3 times now.
All right, we have McAfee out, and here comes a name reminiscent of the Sugar Bowl. Robin Weber, who caught a big pass for you era, is in a tight end situation, a double tight end.
Double tight end there, second down short.
Second and 2. First down, Notre Dame. Hunter carrying the ball.
Good blocking at the point of attack again. They're opening some big holes. Ernie Hughes, number 65, from the right guard, pulled through the hole and got an awful good block.
No title is more coveted than that of an NCAA champion. Now in its 95th championship season, the NCAA will conduct 39 championships in 18 different sports. Okay, Notre Dame first and 10 at the Alabama 12. No score. Coming up to the 8-minute mark of the first quarter. Slager. McAfee coming back in the lineup. Caught the pass inside the 5.
Second receiver from either the slot back. That time it was Ken McAfee slipping out. And Alabama's having difficulty covering that pass.
All right, second down and 2 from the 4. This is the deepest penetration by Notre Dame. Taking the opening kickoff, they move from their own 24 to the 12, then tried a 29-yard field goal to no avail. Alabama made a first down, had the punt. Now Notre Dame has come from its own 30. Second and 2 at the Alabama 4. Loose ball. Steve Orsini lost the ball.
Chris, that is the toughest kind of fumble that you can make. We're going in for the score. Alabama will wind up with the ball first down and 10 on the 20 when it looked like he might be going into the score. Those are the things down on the sideline as a football coach I can speak from experience on that really put a knot in your stomach.
And this is a time where you have to talk to your defense and tell them to keep up the good work and get the ball back. As we'll return to Notre Dame Stadium, no score.
Well, you don't want surprises. You want to know you're going to have good accommodations.
We offered Bill Brewster $10 if he ever had a bad surprise at a Holiday Inn.
Well, I'd love to have the money, but I can't think of one. Holiday Inn's great. The service is good. The prices are reasonable. They're conveniently located. What else can you ask?
Holiday Inn, where standards make sure the best surprise is no surprise.
The only surprises at Holiday Inn are good surprises.
If anybody loves trains, it's me, Johnny Cash. You know, if your boy's under 10 like mine is, he needs a big Lionel like this Black River Freight. Lionel also makes HO gauge trains for older kids, like this Burlington 181. But for smaller hands, the big Lionel is easier to handle and put on the track. This Christmas, get your boy a train that's built for the way young boys play. A big, rugged Lionel. Lionel, the big train for small hands.
Next, ABC Sports continues its coverage of outstanding NCAA football with the Southwest Conference battle between Texas A&M and Arkansas live from Little Rock. Join Keith Jackson, Bud Wilkinson, and Jim Lampley for all the color and excitement next on ABC.
You're looking at the hero of the '73 Sugar Bowl victory, Ara Parsegan's Fighting Irish over Alabama, Robin Weber, who missed all of last year because of an injury. He was injured on the previous play. As Alabama, after a fumble into the end zone, have the ball 1st and 10 at the 20. Jeff Rutledge of Alabama. Was he in bounds? Yes, says the official here on the near sideline. Thad Flanagan, the receiver, number 87 from Layton, Alabama, a senior, Ara.
Right, and I think that's the reason that they have Jeff Rutledge in there. He has completed about 580. Here's the replay on Orsini's fumble. Here's the ball, flies out, goes into the end zone. As I mentioned earlier, that is the toughest kind of fumble and a great break for the Alabama team.
Dewey Mitchell causing the fumble, and on the ball, number 21, Mike Tucker. 1st and 10 for Alabama. Calvin Culliver. Speed to burn. Ross Browner, a great defensive end for Notre Dame. Look at the speed of that big fella.
Okay, that Ross Browner is really something. He's had 19 sacks against opponents and for 136 yards, and he started for us as a freshman in 1973, and I think he's one of the great players. Great speed. You saw him catch Culver that time from the rear. He has 69 tackles.
Culliver of East Bruton, Alabama, a senior, a great player. Got 4, 2nd and 6 for Alabama. No score. Coming up to the 6.5-minute mark, 1st quarter. And from the wishbone, trying the middle. That's a tough spot for any team to run against. Johnny Davis carried on the play, and the ball comes out to, well, let's make it the 42, where it'll be a 3rd down and 4. Mike Calhoun was underneath for Notre Dame, number 77. Bear Bryant, name of the NCAA Coach of the Decade for the 60s. On 3rd down, Alabama has had one opportunity, failing on it. Well, here's another opportunity. 3rd and 4 from their own 42. Newsom and Rick Neal are the ends. On Rutledge trying his best. He's also close to that forward stake on the far sideline is Ken Dyke, number 79 of Crown Point, Indiana. In that big pile up there. Number 58 of Notre Dame, Steve Heimkreider, was also in on the play. And the referee, Robert Fallon, native of Illinois and of the Big Ten, calls for a measurement. Here it is.
Looks like it's going to be close. Just short.
And they missed by 6 inches. You know, on Wednesday, a great American champion leads off a night of specials. Olympic gold medalist Dorothy Hamill stars in her own sensational hour of skating and music with guest stars Gene Kelly and our own Jim McKay. The Dorothy Hamill special, Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain, right here on ABC. So it is a 4th down for the Tide. 5:57 left in the 1st quarter. The ball is at the 46. Scott Zedek is in the lineup, and they go for it on 4th down from the wishbone. Well, there's a nice little wrinkle going back in the punt formation.
Right, put a little twist on him there. They try to bait him into jumping offside, but the Notre Dame team stayed right there. And they're just going to hold and take a 5-yard penalty, I think. What they tried to do there was to try to draw the Notre Dame defensive team offside, but Notre Dame's right in there well. And, of course, now the Alabama team will be forced to punt.
All right, capacity crowd here watching on a beautiful day. Rod Nelson now, number 1, is going to punt. We have Ted Bergmeyer of Notre Dame, number 18. You'll see him to the left. And look at that. 10 players up on the line for Notre Dame.
Looks like they're coming after it. Chris.
All right. And nearly nailed it. And grabbing the ball was Ted Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer trying to get away, and he comes out to the 34. We told you. All right, we're going to Pitt Stadium now. Tony Dorsett has scored a touchdown. Let's get a report. Steve Gobrensky.
We want to welcome the people from the majority of the country who've been watching Notre Dame and Alabama to the Pitt, West Virginia game. Here at Pitt Stadium, and the Mountaineers are in trouble on the goal line on the kickoff following a Pitt touchdown. The West Virginia Mountaineers have recovered, but they are backed up, and the Pitt Panthers are fired up. The ball on the 1.5-yard line, and Tony Dorsett has just run 17 yards for a Pitt touchdown. And there you see the score, 7-0 Pittsburgh. We have about 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. This is Steve Zabriskie along with Lee Groscup.
Once again, a look at Tony Dorsett on the first touchdown of the day. 17-yard run. It's the power pitch around right in.
All right, let's go back to South Bend and Chris Schenkel.
All right, the second play following the Alabama punt. The pass from Slager, number 11, to Tom Doman. They tried to pass on the previous play, incomplete. So that play was on a 2nd down and 10 from the 33. Now the advance is out to the 40, a 7-yard gain. So it's 3rd down and 3.
And Chris, that gives Slager, he's 6 for 9, so he's off to a good start. Big down here, 3rd down and about 3.
All right, the ball is right on the stripe of the 40, the Notre Dame 40. No score, 4:49 left in the first quarter. And again, very close as Vegas Ferguson, the freshman number 32 from Richmond, Indiana, carried on the play. Paul Harris, defensively for Alabama, number 85.
It's another close one. I'd hate to call it from here.
So, Robert Fallon, the Big Ten referee, is calling for a measurement. Nara, we have 3 Southeastern Conference officials here, along with the 3 Big Ten officials.
Yeah, this is a split crew. This is one of the things that we... when we had games when I coached at the University of Notre Dame, they were split crews when we played a non-conference team. Of course, when we played a Big Ten team, there were 6 Big Ten officials because they supplied all the officials for our games.
Just short of the first down as we look. Coach Dan Devine as we now go to Bill Fleming.
All right, Chris, and the situation right now at the Michigan game is that the Wolverines are out in front of Illinois, 7-0 with 6 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Wolverines drove 61 yards in 11 plays, and Ricky Leach scored the touchdown, so the Wolverines are bouncing back. All right, Chris.
Thank you, Bill. Sophomore Joe Restick, whose dad is the Harvard football coach. This is number 7. He's a defensive back as well. Will do the punting. He's averaged 42.5 yards a kick. He's a good one. And a speedster, Ossie Newsome, is back. He's an offensive end for the Tide. There's Restick's kick. Low trajectory. Newsome has it at the 24. And that's it.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe Restick is really a fine kicker.
And I call that great kick coverage as well. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium with 4:19 to go in the first quarter. Alabama nothing, Notre Dame nothing.
America stops shaving and starts grooming.
Hey, Dad, when will I be old enough to groom like you?
Well, right now, I could really go for a hot shower and a groom.
A lot of people don't just shave anymore. Now they groom with the groomer from Sunbeam. It shaves clean and close with Sunbeam's thinnest shaving head ever. And it's the only shaver that can do this. Groom mustaches, beards, even trim hair. So stop shaving and start grooming with the Sunbeam Shave Master Groomer.
Boy, that was a close groom.
Our 77 Chevy Fleet Side pickup is tough in the right places with 2 steel walls here in the front fenders, in the body side panels, in the tailgate. 2 steel walls in the doors, even in the hood. With 2 steel walls and corrosion protection in vital areas. A Chevy pickup is a truck within a truck. Chevy trucks built to stay tough.
Following a very effective Notre Dame punt and great kick coverage, Alabama now is back at its own 23. No score in the game. They have a 1st and 10 there. We have Ossie Newsome set to the far side of the field with a split end Rick Neal to this side of the field.
Jeff Rutledge. And a few new wrinkles by Coach Paul Bear Bryant as Jeff Rutledge on a keeper.
He's not running too badly. Interestingly enough, in this first quarter thus far, both coaches are playing it very conservative. Both came up with 4th down and very short yardage, elected the punt, and they're jockeying for field position.
1st and 10 as Tony Nathan comes into the Alabama lineup, number 22. Culliver is out. It's a 1st and 10 for the Tide at their own 35. No score if you just joined us. And carrying on the play, Johnny Davis of Montgomery. And in on the tackle, a good one, the middle guard, Bob Golick, number 55 for the Notre Dame, and number 79, Ken Dyke. The advance is 3 yards, so it's going to be now a 2nd down and 7.
You know, Chris, Johnny Davis is a big guy, 6'1", 225, but he's also an accomplished pianist, and he's a player and a gospel singer.
There you go.
Yeah.
2nd down and 7. And there goes Tony Nathan, but look at the pursuit of the Notre Dame defenders. And guess who was there? That great one, Russ Browner, number 89 of Warren, Ohio.
Well, if there was ever an All-American, I think he is. There goes Russ Browner fighting off the block by Pete Cavan, comes sliding out and grabs a hold of Tony Nathan and brings him back. Russ Browner.
Let's see if Alabama can come up with their first 3rd down conversion. With a flanker and a split end, the formation, 3rd and 4. No. Johnny Davis, the bull, carried, but Ken Dyke and 77, Mike Calhoun, and a couple of more. Number 89, Russ Browner. Oh.
He's going to be around all afternoon. You know, Keith, one of the things that the Notre Dame team did a week ago, the Georgia Tech score and defense was a little misleading because the Notre Dame team prepared for the veer, and Pepper Rogers came out with a wishbone. Notre Dame's prepared for the wishbone defense.
Nearly blocked. Rod Nelson getting the punt away for Alabama, and a fair catch called for by Ted Bergmeyer. Let's take a trip to the East Coast to Soldier Field in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the historic Harvard-Yale game. Vern Lundquist is there. Let's join him.
Thank you, Chris. Our score here at the Harvard-Yale game this afternoon is 7-0. We've just had a bit of excitement as Russ Savage, a defensive end for Harvard, intercepted a Stone Phillips pass and rumbled 72 yards for a first quarter touchdown. This is Yale with a football. Stone Phillips, number 16, who just had the misfortune of having that pass intercepted. And just moments ago, Harvard took a 7-0 lead. Handoff up the center goes to John Hatem, and he is out to the 13-yard line, or the 10-yard line, rather. Yale leading, or rather favored by 7 points, finding themselves on the short end of the scoreboard now. 7-0, and Yale has the football with a 2nd down at 8. 7-0, Harvard in front. We'll update you folks at the Notre Dame-Alabama game later.
And still no score. Ferguson just reeled off an 8-yard run on a 1st and 10 following the Alabama punt. So we have a 2nd and 2 from the 28 for the Fighting Irish. Look at the extra effort by number 25, Al Hunter of Greenville, South Carolina. And another Tide beauty watching the game.
Incidentally, that 2nd effort by Al Hunter got the 1st down.
In the lineup now comes number 80 for the Fighting Irish. That's Dan Kelleher. Little pyramid here by the Alabama cheerleaders. As we indicated earlier, about 5,000 Alabama fans have converged on South Bend, Indiana, days in advance of the game. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame from the 31, no score. Slager to Hunter. Out to the 39. Phil Allman covering. A look at Al Hunter as he goes back. Coming into the game, he had caught 11 passes for a 14-yard average. And you know, he needs 203 yards to set the single-season rushing record held by a great football player named Schwartz here at Notre Dame.
Alabama's going to have to adjust to that double wing and the second receiver out in the quick flat, or they're going to be hurt by it.
On a reverse on 2nd and 2, Tom Dolman trying for the Notre Dame 1st down.
Went with a misdirection play that time, but the Alabama team recovered well.
There you look at the Alabama defenders. They are big. Bear Bryant, way back, was noted for his fast, quick, smaller linemen, but not so the past couple of years, Era.
You know, the interior line, Baumhauer, Hanna, and White are really good football players.
And give it to the man, the bread and butter, Al Hunter, and it's a Notre Dame first down. Rich Ringo, number 36 from Elkhart, Indiana, playing for Alabama, made the stop.
That's not very far from here either. Incidentally, Ted Horansky, number 66, the left guard, pulled on that play and set a beautiful block and made the first down possible.
You know, in the Notre Dame team, there are players representing 21 states in the United States.
Well, we used to recruit nationally, Chris.
Lots of Subway alumni as well for Notre Dame. No score as the first half has ended. We hope you're enjoying the action.
Put your foot down. Put your foot down. And come on in to Goodyear. Put your foot down. And come on in to Goodyear. 'Cause Goodyear puts its foot down on prices right now.
Goodyear has put its foot down. Save 30% on Goodyear's custom power cushion polyglass white walls. America's best-selling tire at 30% off regular price. Sale ends Tuesday.
Yes, Goodyear puts its foot down on prices. And how?
Metropolitan Life reminds you that the future will be here in a moment, and we can help you prepare for it.
The sun is shining. Things are growing. Things are going well with you and me. A future plan together. A rich full life together. And things look bright as they can be. We're helping 40 million people. More than 40 million people who know the future is now. At Metropolitan Life.
Don't let the future take you by surprise. At Metropolitan Life, we've spent over a century helping people prepare for the future. And Metropolitan can do the same for you. Metropolitan, where the future is now.
Well, we have the wrong fan here. He's got the wrong stadium because Alabama's at Notre Dame today. Nevertheless, Southeastern Conference football fans travel the length and breadth of the country. Now it's a 1st and 10 at the 44, and Slager wants it all. Oh, he gets Dan Kelleher. Dan is on his way. Dan goes. 6 points. Notre Dame. 80 yards, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, and Slager wound up like he was going to... Era, he really put that ball in the air.
He really did. Kelleher has caught 15 passes. There's another one for him. He's been the big play guy for Notre Dame. And interestingly enough, University of Notre Dame now has made more yardage in 1 quarter than they did all last week against Georgia Tech. So they're ready to play.
A 56-yard scoring play, capping an 80-yard march, and on the 6th play, now it's Notre Dame 6-0. The first play of the 2nd quarter. Now trying to point after touchdown for the Fighting Irish. We have Dave Reed, who's hit on 21 of 24. The kick is up and a line drive, 1 point. 7-0. What an afternoon. We hope you're enjoying it. And later, don't forget, it'll be Texas A&M and Arkansas right here on ABC.
It's a misdirection pass. He faked a counter coming back to the left side. There's Kelleher wide open. He shakes the tackle. He's got the kind of speed to go all the way. He's a senior, and he's been the big play guy, as I mentioned earlier, for Notre Dame during the entire year. In the Navy game, he caught exactly the same pass for a touchdown, a big play. I think it was 80 yards.
Oh, the buttons. All the color and excitement of NCAA college football as Slager throws his 11th touchdown pass for Kelleher, his 2nd 6-pointer of the year, and it took him 9 seconds. The first play of the 2nd quarter to get into the end zone. So now Notre Dame will be kicking off. 14:51 remaining in the first half. Kicking the ball, Dave Reed. Not too long. Number 30 is Lou Eichner of Alabama, and look out, Lou. And Lou brings it out to about the 20 for Coach Paul Bear Bryant.
The reason that that Notre Dame got good coverage on that is Dave Reed put that ball up there a long time. There was great hang time on it, and the coverage was super. so that Alabama's going to have to go the length of the field. The ball's right at the 20-yard line.
So, Era, very often the height is even greater effectiveness than the length of the kick.
That's exactly right, and that's what happened on that kick.
Jack O'Rear is the quarterback now for Alabama. There he is, number 15. Jeff Rutley started the game, and O'Rear, who is a fine runner, will be calling signals now as Ken Dyke puts the stop on him. Let's hear from Bill Fleming.
All right, let's get an update here on the Michigan-Illinois game. In that game, Illinois has just scored from the 2-yard line after a 29-yard pass set it up. So it's 7-7 with 1 minute and 29 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Thad Flanagan to the left. Wishbone formation. 2nd and 6 from the 24. Jack O'Rear gives to Johnny Davis. And the Notre Dame defense at one point this year did not allow a score in 21 consecutive quarters. And the defense seems to be up for the game today. Jack O'Rear, who had no work this week because of an injury against Georgia Tech, is from Tarrant, Alabama. A junior, 6'2", 188 pounds, a 5-yard rushing average. 5 touchdowns. Thad Flanagan to the left on a 3rd and 3. O'Rear tried to pick up the yardage, and he did not make it, so it's a punting situation. 4th down for Alabama. Joe Restick, the punter, son of the Harvard football coach, tripped him up.
Yes, and Notre Dame is using the wishbone defense, which they did not use last week, and you can see they're really shutting Alabama off. Watch the rush again. Bradley has come close the last 2 times.
Luther Bradley, number 20. And Luther almost did it again. Number 18, calling for the fair catch, is Bergmeyer, Ted Bergmeyer of Notre Dame, and the Fighting Irish will have the ball at approximately the 40-yard line. Notre Dame leading 7-0.
Your nearby Radio Shack store has slashed prices on famous realistic brand CB radios. During this sale, save $60 on this unique telephone-type mobile radio, or save $40 on this rugged base station. Take your choice for only $119.95 each, or buy them both. One for your car, one for your home. Sale-priced realistic CB radios. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
It's me, George Burns. For a guy who used to smoke cigars, even in the shower, I never thought I'd get real smoking satisfaction from a pipe tobacco. But this Sir Walter Raleigh is terrific. Made from all burley tobacco, mellow, rich, really a quality smoke. Terrific. And the pouch matches my shower curtains.
The quality pipe tobaccos of America.
Notre Dame leads 7-0. They have the ball now, 1st and 10 at their own 40, following a punt. Slager's the quarterback, who connected on a strike to Kelleher for the touchdown. Goes down the middle to McAfee. And look at the sure hands of All-American Ken McAfee. He has reached the 45 of Alabama. Let's see it again.
Slager's got a real hot hand. McAfee is just driving right down into the slot. They're in what we call a double zone. There's 2 guys deep defensively for the University of Alabama. You watch here, Slager comes right back to the pocket, and you'll see McAfee right in the hole. Good throw, right on target.
Slager, 9 of 12 for 157 yards and 1 touchdown. Notre Dame leading 7-0. 1st and 10 from the Alabama 44. Hunter was out in the area along with number 80, Dan Kelleher. Incomplete.
And here's the stats in the first half. If you want to tack on 56 yards to Notre Dame's 163 after that pass for a touchdown, you can see the dominance. The time, 9 minutes and 58 seconds, almost 10 minutes for Notre Dame and only 5 minutes for Alabama. So there's unquestionably the Irish have come out ready to play.
And the 5th time they'd have possession of the ball, starting with the opening kickoff. Tried a 29-yard field goal and failed. So at 14:51 of the second quarter, after 9 seconds of the start, they scored. Hunter in motion. 2nd and 10. And the freshman is getting a baptism out here today. And the marker is on the field. Let's watch.
I think it was Tom Dolman, the right halfback, the wing back, that moved just before the snap, and it'll be a motion penalty that'll move the ball back 5 yards.
Era, this is a gratifying thing. As I recall, this is the very first penalty of the football game.
Yes, it is. Very well played up to this point.
Oh, it certainly has. Officiating has been fine. That's Bob Fallon you just saw, and that brings the ball back to the 49, where now it'll be 2nd down and 15 for the Fighting Irish, still in Alabama territory as they lead 7-0.
Incidentally, that was Steve Smith that was in motion on the play.
Good job on running the delay after being hit right behind the line. Ferguson, the freshman, moved close to the 46.
Well, Vegas Ferguson, for a freshman, is really playing well. He's carried the ball not too many times, but each time he has been able to elude the first tackler, and that's the mark of a great football player.
Notre Dame with the ball. They lead 7-0 if you just join us, and we have 12 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in this game. The first part of a doubleheader, second part at 4 Eastern time, following the Prudential College scoreboard. Texas A&M and Arkansas, 3rd and 12. Oh, Kelleher. Dan Kelleher. He has a hot pair of hands today.
And so does Slager. He had that ball in there. It was a tough catch because it was a look-in. Slager just steps right back and delivers the ball on what we call a look-in. There's the delivery, and great catch by Kelleher. He's been having a great year.
2 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Kelleher, who averaged 21.8 a catch coming into this ball game. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame at the Alabama 32. And look at the white jerseys with that crimson trim. They won't give up, I'll guarantee you.
Oh, no, they'll be there, but I think that the Tide is going to have to make some adjustments in their secondary because the second receiver out has been open on a number of occasions. Of course, Slager's had a hot hand, and if they expect to stay in this ball game, they're going to have to make some adjustments.
Willard Browner in on the tackle, or rather in on the ball carrying. 2nd down and 8 from the 30. Another advance by Ferguson, the freshman. And for Coach Dan Devine, that was a surprise for this game by starting Ferguson, who now has gotten inside the 20 for a 1st and 10. And here's Bill Fleming.
All right, in the West Virginia Pitt game, West Virginia has just scored on a field goal, so the #1 rated Panthers are now leading 7-3. The margin cut to 4, and we'll keep you up to date on it.
Thanks, Bill. Bill on the sideline, Bill Fleming. There he goes to the 5, Vegas Ferguson. A 6-yard average coming into the game, 144 yards, and the 6'1" freshman. Number 32 has 8 carries for 47 yards, and it's a 1st and goal era at the 6.
Right, and that Vegas Ferguson is really impressive. I didn't expect that he would do this well in an opening ball game for a freshman, but he is really responding.
We have received word that Robin Weber, a Notre Dame hero 2 years ago, will not get back in the game today. We do not have the extent of his injury or the type, but we'll try our very, very best at our first chance. All right, 10:38 to go. In the first half, Notre Dame is leading Alabama 7-0.
Xerox has a copier that can make regular size 8.5 by 11-inch copies. It can also make medium size 11 by 14-inch copies. It's portable, has a document feeder. But the best part of all is that it makes giant size 14 by 18-inch copies. The Xerox 3100 large document copier.
My broker thinks it's a good investment. Well, mine's not so sure. Say it, Ted. My broker's E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
All right, one of the 3 Browner boys from Warren, Ohio is in the lineup now for Notre Dame. Number 24, along with 25, Hunter, and Billman. 26, 1st and goal at the 6 for the Irish. Hunter trying to weave his way into the end zone, denied. Short by about 2.5 yards. See the blockers up front. Number 66, Ted Horansky of Cleveland, Ohio. And so with the ball now at the 2. It's a 2nd down and goal to go. The Alabama defenders getting set. 89 is Calvin Parker. Up there in the middle is Gus White, 5'10" and 245 pounds. Up over the ball for Notre Dame, Dave Huffman. Notre Dame leading 7-0. 13-0. Al Hunter, his 12th touchdown of the year, and look at the Notre Dame players mob. Al Hunter from Greenville, North Carolina. He is a junior. 50-yard march, make it a 60-yard drive by Notre Dame.
Looks like the Irish are really ready today. That was well blocked. Hunter just walks into the end zone. As you say, his 12th touchdown. He's a real workhorse. And the Irish have really looked sharp.
Now Dave Reed will try the point after. It's up, and it is good. It's 14-0 as we now go to Pitt Stadium. Number 1 Panthers against West Virginia. Here is Steve Zabriskie.
Hello, I'm Steve Zabriskie, and we welcome you viewers who've been enjoying the Alabama-Notre Dame game in South Bend. With me is Lee Groscup, and we're here in Pitt Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where the Pitt Panthers have now taken a 14-3 lead over West Virginia on this touchdown by Tony Dorsett.
From his tailback position, one of his favorite plays, the isolation, Tony Dorsett gets touchdown number 2. He's now got 11 carries, 53 yards. Just another typical day for Tony Dorsett.
Let's go back now to Chris Schinkel and Bud Wilkinson in South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you, Stephen Cuppert. The 10th leading scorer in the nation, Al Hunter, for Notre Dame, has gotten his first touchdown of the afternoon with the point after. Notre Dame a surprise, leading Alabama 14-0. Dave Reed getting that ball high in the air. Lou Eichner of Alabama has the ball, trying to get outside, and he is brought down at approximately the 23. So Alabama will get the ball. Notre Dame has been very stingy, keeping it on 2 long scoring drives, and the Tide, well, they've just had to punt on every series of downs.
Well, you have good coverage again, and of course, when a team has to go anywhere from 75 to 80 yards and without making an error, a penalty, or assignment mistake, it's very difficult to do, and I think the Irish look like they're really ready today.
For the second series, Jack O'Rear is the quarterback for Alabama, good runner. Over 400 yards coming into the game. Ken Dyke, number 79, was there for the Fighting Irish. Jim Browner there as well, as the ball now is at the 35. There's a 12-yard gain for an Alabama first down.
Looks like Culver is hurt. He's gone off the field. Calvin Culver, number 33.
So they bring in number 22, Tony Nathan. Notre Dame has 12 first downs. Alabama has 4. O'Rear. That's one of the options of the wishbone era.
You know, that's the option that they ran a touchdown for with the same play against Tennessee about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's a very difficult thing because it's their form, or I should say the wishbone form of misdirection.
Right. And O'Rear does it well. He's 4 carries, 34 yards. Jack O'Rear, number 15, now the quarterback for Alabama with a 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 48. Fighting his way, Johnny Davis of Alabama, number 38. And this is the deepest penetration thus far by the Crimson Tide, who came into this game averaging 26 points a game.
You know, another thing, too, Chris, one of the interesting things, Johnny Davis has never lost a yard while playing at Alabama. Not 1 negative yard.
Second down and 6 now from the 44. Pete Cavan, number 20 of Thomaston, Georgia, carrying the ball for Alabama. In the backfield now, they have Nathan 22, Davis 38, and Cavan 20. We have 8:37 remaining in the first half. Notre Dame leading Alabama 14-0. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a Fireman's Fun flashback featuring a look at one of college football's biggest upsets this year. 3rd down and 2 now from the 40. And that Notre Dame defense converging on Johnny Davis. Very, very close to that forward stake on the far sideline. Obviously a Notre Dame fan. And with those colors,
it'll be interesting to see whether or not Bear goes for this. He's got 4th down and short. He's at about the 39-yard line and 14 points behind. Looks like they're going to go.
All right. 39-yard line, Alabama leading 14-0 here in the second quarter. The CAA, begun in 1937 with 13 junior colleges in one sport, reached the bicentennial year of 76 with 585 member colleges and 19 sports. All right, to the 35, Pete Cavan. And it paid off, Era.
They got good blocking from K.J. Lazenby and Lewis Green on the left side. Really opened up a hole on that. And, of course, I think it was the right thing to do. You've got your 14 points behind. You're down to the 39-yard line. You've got to maintain possession. You've got to try to get on the board. And, of course, they got the first down at the 35 now.
Terry Jones is the center over the ball. The quarterback, Jack O'Rear. 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 35. A long one. And a marker is down. There was interference on Ozzie Newsome. One of the great defensive backs, whether it be at safety or at the cornerback. Luther Bradley was covering on the play, number 20 from Muncie, Indiana.
Chris, that was a run action in there with Jack O'Rear. Has only thrown the ball 14 times in 9 games, and he was right on the mark there. It was a great catch by Ozzie Newsome. Here it is. Flag was thrown, and of course they'll refuse the penalty.
There's some wobbler. Not to knock Jack O'Rear, a great football player, as we look at Paul Bear Bryant, 19th year at Alabama. And 1 year in your 2 highly successful careers, Era, didn't you share Coach of the Year honors with him?
No,
way back?
No, it was with Frank Broyles at the time.
Oh, it was? All right.
Bear has been Coach of the Year a couple of times.
I guess so.
Deservedly so.
All right, here we have a 1st and 10 at the 11 following that pass play. O'Rear.
Well, he put a real move on there.
That's what we mean about Jack O'Rear's running ability. And he is inside the 2 at about the 1.5. And there are those 5,000 Alabama fans in South Bend.
Jack O'Rear looked like he was going to get no yardage on it whatsoever. And he put on a real move and went all the way down to the 1.5-yard line.
And that brings up a 2nd down. From the wishbone. Trying to get in, Pete Cavan, number 20. The Notre Dame defenders, who were really stingy up until the last 2 games in yards and touchdowns, were effective on that play. But Alabama is really close, and enough so to get the 1st and goal.
4 downs to take it in from the about 1-foot line, it looks like, from here.
Beautiful afternoon for this meeting between independent Notre Dame, Southeastern Conference, Alabama. 1st down and goal. Cavan trying again, number 20.
Didn't get it.
He had a 6-yard average coming into this game. His brother Jim is an assistant coach at the University of Georgia as goalie. And Zetic, 55 and 70, help immensely on the stop at the 6-inch mark. 2nd down and goal. Notre Dame leading 14-0. Alabama started this drive at its own 23. It's the first sign of life, really, as Flanagan now is to the right, number 87. And look at the Notre Dame defenders on Pete Cavan. Jim Browner, another member of the Browner family.
Looked like they lost maybe a foot on that play. Here's a replay of it. I think it's Jim Browner, number 33, that comes in and makes the play, saves him from getting into the end zone. As a matter of fact, winds up losing maybe the length of a ball.
Willard Browner, Jim Browner, Ross Browner. Pride and joy of Warren, Ohio. And now it's a 3rd and goal. 5:48 remaining in the 1st half. Notre Dame leading Alabama 14-0. Alabama with the ball. O'Rear, 6 points, the Tide.
And I thought for a minute he had given it to Davis there.
The 6th touchdown of the year for Coach Paul Bear Bryant's quarterback, Jack O'Rear of Tarrant, Alabama. Bear Bryant from Fordyce, Arkansas. Now Bucky Berry will try for the point after. We have a 14-6 game. 77-yard drive in 12 plays for Alabama. Very effective. Jeff Rutledge holding. The kick is up. Number 7, Joe. Bucky Berry gets it as we'll return to South Bend, but first, this message.
How much does an oil company make on a gallon of gasoline?
30 cents. 30 cents.
A lot. You can bet on that.
Many people think oil companies make a lot more than they do. In the year that ended last June, Texaco, for example, made only an average of about 1.25 cents per gallon for all petroleum and products sold. And most of that has to go back into getting you the oil and gasoline you need. At Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, honey. We're really proud of your new promotion.
Thanks, Mom. It's just a shame getting ahead means moving away.
Well, son, if success came easy, being successful just wouldn't mean as much.
You're right, Dad.
Now you should know about Inglenook, America's superior wine. Very appropriate for those moments in life that are somehow just a little special. Remember Inglenook when the toast is from your heart.
To success.
And to riding home.
Quarterback Jack O'Rears come off the bench for Alabama, capped a 77-yard drive on the 12th play, went in to score. It's now 14-7, Notre Dame leading, 5:38 to go, as Bucky Berry, who added the extra point for the Tide, looks to the far sideline. He has the ball teed up.
Here's, looks like John Davis has got the ball. He's tackled by Ken Dyke, and O'Rears just keeps the ball and steps into the end zone here. And I think Notre Dame was gambling a little bit that they might give the ball inside again.
Bucky Berry about to kick off, getting the extra point, 14-7. Notre Dame, the leader, will get the kick. That is Al Hunter, who scored a touchdown for the Fighting Irish. Finds a hole. Oh, but from behind, a great defensive play. Notre Dame will try to move it from its own 28 very, very soon. Now to Soldier Field for a report from Vern Lundquist.
Thank you, Chris. And we've got an upset here at the Harvard-Yale game as Harvard is taken an early lead 7-0, and they have a field goal opportunity now. They have intercepted 2 Yale passes. They were 7-point underdogs, and they have a 4th down field goal opportunity from about 35 yards out right now. This is an important Ivy League game because Brown and Columbia are playing down in New York, and Columbia, an underdog, is leading Brown by a score of 7-0. Columbia should hang on and win that game, and should Harvard defeat Yale, we'd have a 3-way tie for the Ivy. This is Mike Lynch trying a field goal. There's a bad snap, and the kick is on its way, though. It looks like it's going to be short. So the attempt for 3 goes for naught. Our score will stay 7-0 as Yale will get the ball back one more time with 3:29 remaining in the first half. 7-0, Harvard leads it.
Following the kickoff after an Alabama touchdown, Hunter went 4 yards on the first snap. Now it's a 2nd down and 6 for Notre Dame at the 32, their own. Slager. Oh, beautifully put in. Tremendous accuracy by Slager to Tom Doman.
Great pass route by Doman. The halfback came up and thought he was going to pick the ball up, but Slager waited till he ran just outside of him, and he had the ball right in the money. Slager's having a great day.
That went from the 32 of Notre Dame to the Alabama 44. Coming up next, the Prudential College scoreboard, and then the second half of our NCAA football doubleheader, a Southwest Conference clash, the Aggies of Texas A&M and Arkansas. Number 44 now, Notre Dame leading 14-7, second quarter. Fine defensive play on a pass intended for Ken McAfee, number 81.
And Slager had that ball in there again.
Murray Legg, you see him there in the center with his jersey out from his belt. He's the one that got in and knocked it away as we go to Bill Fleming on the sideline.
All right, Chris, in that critical game for Michigan in the second quarter now with 3:48 to go in the half. Michigan has scored on a 5-yard pass from Leach to Lytle. Michigan leads it 14-7 over Illinois.
All right, Bill, your alma mater's doing all right today. Bill Fleming. Now 2nd down and 10 from the 44. And there is Ferguson. Ferguson, who helped so much in the 60-yard march to set up the score, as done by Al Hunter, carries on the play. He was quite a long jumper in high school, doing 22.8. He's in the College of Business Administration, majoring in management. Notre Dame with a 3rd down and 3. The ball at the 36. Hunter. Well, a shoe top tackle saves 6 points. Number 77 for Alabama. Barry Krause just got the shoe top of Hunter, and that saved it.
Boy, it looked like he was going to swing it there. There was good blocking at the point of attack.
So now we have a measurement coming up. Seems like we keep saying it's close.
I think he's got this one, Chris. I think. No, just short again.
No?
Just short.
Well, I guess it's short now. They're putting the stakes short by about, would you believe, 2 inches?
You got Vegas Ferguson back in there. Let's see if they give it to him for this short yardage situation.
All right. Notre Dame coming right back and going for it on 4th down. And Slager on a keeper picks up the Notre Dame 1st and 10. This Monday on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Juice, parental James Simpson, and the Buffalo Bills go up against the Dallas Cowboys in Irving, Texas. You know, it hasn't been a good year for the Bills, but OJ is a show that you won't want to miss. The Dallas Cowboys at 8-1 have as good a record as any team in the league. That's Monday night, so join Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, and Alex Karras, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, over most of these stations. 1st and 10 at the 32. Number 71 is Steve McDaniels of Seattle, Washington, a junior. Right tackle for Notre Dame. Procedure call against the Fighting Irish.
Makes it a little tougher here with 1st and 15. But Slager is really throwing the ball well. They've got good pass routes on, and Alabama's having some trouble stopping the Irish passing attack.
The referee, Robert Fallon, stepping off the 5, bringing it back to the 37. Notre Dame scored 2 touchdowns, and then Alabama came back with a 60-yard drive and make it an 80-yard drive to score their touchdown. 14-7 is the score. Ferguson, number 32, carrying on the play. Look at the pursuit of Alabama.
They were in a man-to-man coverage that time. It looks like they might change from the zone where they've been hurt in. Looked like they were going to be in some man-to-man that time.
Okay. The ball at the 33. Ferguson now has 60 yards on 10 carries as we look at Rick Slager of Columbus, Ohio, a senior. 2nd and 11. And Ken McAfee, covered by Murray Legg, gets to about the 21. Oh, he's impressive.
He really is. He's about 253 pounds. You know, when we were recruiting him about 3 years ago, his dad was a great Alabama football player. There's the replay. There's the catch again. And of course, we were very fortunate that when I was coaching, that he came to Notre Dame, and of course, he's demonstrating here why we were after him.
And Aaron, I must admit, it makes me feel a little old because I covered the New York Giant games when his father was an end for the Giants.
I think that's telling us something, isn't it?
That is. Well, time flies, but I started young like you did. So with that 1st and 10 at the 21, Notre Dame in the lead, 14-7, with 2 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the first half. The Alabama band did not make the trip north, but the Notre Dame band has a great show. Bill Fleming will be hosting an action-packed halftime here in South Bend, Indiana. From the 21, Slager to Hunter. Slager, number 25, following Ted Horansky off to the right side of the line as Baumhauer, along with Paul Harris, in on the stop.
Actually, the Alabama defense has done very well against the run, but the passing game has really hurt.
Al Hunter now has 71 yards and 11 carries, including the second Notre Dame touchdown. Notre Dame had an opportunity to score on the first series, but missed on a 29-yard field goal. Now we have a 2nd down and 6 at the 17. And there's Ferguson. Oh, the freshman. 17 yards and a Notre Dame touchdown. A 72-yard drive by the Fighting Irish, who have come alive.
If you watch Vegas Ferguson here, he really reads the daylight. The play was designed to go right up the middle. He reads it to the outside. He gets good blocking on the right side. The pursuit was moving to the action, and he's having quite an afternoon.
72 yards, and on the 9th play, a 17-yard score. Dave Reed now will try the point after. Up and good form and perfect. 21-7 with 1:45 remaining in the first half, and Notre Dame leads.
It's been quite a passing performance by Slager. I think he's kept the drives alive. Very much impressed with what he's doing today. Also, of course, Vegas Ferguson has really added something to this ball club. He has great speed. He runs to daylight well, and particularly that last touchdown play where the play was actually designed up the middle, and he read it clear to the outside and scored on it.
Well, Aaron, we'll have an opportunity later, following the Prudential College scoreboard, to take a look at Frank Broyle's Arkansas Razorbacks against Emory Ballard's Wishbone Texas A&M.
That'll be some kind of game, too.
Okay, it's 21-7. All this here on ABC Sports. Dave Reed to kick following the third Notre Dame touchdown. Calvin Culliver is deep, number 33, along with Lou Eichner. Eichner to the far side. Here's the kick. Nearly straight away. Culliver wants it, the senior. He's at the goal line, out to the 5-10. Fine run back out to about the 21 by the veteran Culliver, and the stop was made by Tom Flynn, number 23 of the Fighting Irish. This program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. Over 59,000 fans, a sellout, standing room only here at Notre Dame Stadium. Alabama trailing 7-21. Closing moments of the first half. From the 21, Johnny Davis carrying.
I think you'll find the Irish playing a little soft in there, a little loose in there with 1 minute and 27 seconds left to go, and not giving up anything big. They don't want the Alabama ball club to get into the end zone with this time left, so they'll play it a little loose here.
Willie Fry made the stop. We haven't had an opportunity to mention his name much. He's the other defensive end with Browner. Johnny Davis again on a 2nd and 6, and the leprechaun. That's a tradition here at Notre Dame era that really has helped the football team, I believe.
The people have changed in that uniform, but the face hasn't.
It's quite an honor to get that role. 0 for 5 on third downs, Alabama. And we have 48 seconds remaining in the first half with a 3rd down and 5. Johnny Davis carrying again, and like Al Hunter being stopped by Georgia Tech last week on the ground, Johnny Davis, the Alabama star, is really being bottled up.
It really is. Of course, they call timeout. They're going to try to get the ball with 34 seconds left. The Irish try to put the ball back up in the air again, see if they can't get another score in that short time. They're going to go after it. Watch Bradley at the right defensive end this time. He's come close 3 previous occasions, and you can expect him to come again.
Tonight, ABC Sports presents a 2-hour primetime special presentation, The Battle of the Network Stars, a unique athletic competition that pits television stars from shows on all 3 networks against one another in a variety of athletic events. That's tonight at 9 Eastern and Pacific Time, 8 Central Time over most of these stations. Let's go back a little bit and watch his move.
Watch a replay again. No one's blocking him. He's coming from the outside. He lays out here, and the ball is, talk about fractions of seconds, another 0.2 of a second, and he'd have blocked that kick.
All right, now Notre Dame with the ball at the 43 with a 1st and 10, and they lead here in the first half, 21-7. Al Hunter in the lineup as Slager. Oh, they're pulling out the stops. Ken McAfee nearly got his hands on it, and then deeper even was Danny Kelleher flooding it over here on the near side of the field.
Right, with 24 seconds left, and they'll put it up again. You all want to be careful here a little bit, too, because Alabama will be laying off and playing for the long pass, and you don't want an interception to happen, so they may play it a little bit more conservative here. Let's watch and see.
Slager has completed 12 of 18. Including a touchdown combination with Dan Kelleher of 56 yards. Browner and Ferguson, 2 freshmen in the backfield, and here is a long bomb. Say one thing, Ara, Slager has a strong arm.
He really does. He's got quick feet. You know, he's an outstanding tennis player as well as an outstanding quarterback, and this first half is probably, well, he's played well in some of the other ball games as well, but this first half has been sensational for him, really.
That was intended for Dave Waymer of Charlotte, North Carolina. Another freshman, as Coach Dan Devine does have a young team.
He's passed for 210 yards already in this first half.
Now it's a 3rd down and 10 from the 43 with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Ferguson stopped early by number 91, Bob Baumhauer of Tuscaloosa. Great player. There you see his size, too, 6'4", 260. And Danny Collins, a junior from Birmingham. 5 seconds left on the clock. 4th down coming up. Texas A&M and Arkansas. You remember last year's game on ABC? Well, Arkansas won the game, went on to the Cotton Bowl, and had a victory over Georgia. And the Aggies have been smarting from that loss for a whole year, and now you'll see that game later today right here on ABC. There's a great shot of the library. It's a magnificent structure here at Notre Dame.
Great view, great scenes. You know, Chris, one of the things we're going to have to watch in the second half, Notre Dame has had 3 poor games.
The kick away. Taking a bounce to about the 43, and we have only 31 seconds with the clock stopped now at 30. Watch Bradley. There is number 20, but let's go back a little bit and watch his move.
Watch a replay again. No one's blocking him. He's coming from the outside. He lays out here, and the ball is, talk about fractions of seconds. Another 0.2 of a second, and he'd have blocked that kick.
All right, now Notre Dame with the ball at the 43 with a 1st and 10, and they lead here in the first half, 21-7. Al Hunter in the lineup as Slager. Oh, they're pulling out the stops. Ken McAfee nearly got his hands on it, and then deeper even was Danny Kelleher flooding it over here on the near side of the field.
Right, the 24 seconds left, and they'll put it up again. You all want to be careful here a little bit, too, because Alabama will be laying off and playing for the long pass, and you don't want an interception to happen, so they may play it a little bit more conservative here. Let's watch and see.
Slager has completed 12 of 18, including a touchdown combination with Dan Kelleher of 56 yards. Browner and Ferguson, 2 freshmen in the backfield, and here is a long bomb. Say one thing, Ara, Slager has a strong arm.
He really does. He's got quick feet. You know, he's an outstanding tennis player as well as an outstanding quarterback. And this first half is probably, well, he's played well in some of the other ball games as well, but this first half has been sensational for him, really.
That was intended for Dave Waymer of Charlotte, North Carolina. Another freshman, as Coach Dan Devine does have a young team.
He's passed for 210 yards already in this first half.
Now it's a 3rd down and 10 from the 43 with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Ferguson stopped early by number 91, Bob Baumhauer of Tuscaloosa. Great player. There you see his size, too, 6'4", 260. And Danny Collins, a junior from Birmingham. 5 seconds left on the clock. 4th down coming up. Texas A&M and Arkansas. You remember last year's game on ABC? Well, Arkansas won the game, went on to the Cotton Bowl, and had a victory over Georgia. And the Aggies have been smarting from that loss for a whole year, and now you'll see that game later today right here on ABC. There's a great shot of the library. It's a magnificent structure here at Notre Dame.
Great view, great scenes. You know, Chris, one of the things we're going to have to watch in the second half, Notre Dame has had 3 poor games in the second half. Of course, the last 3 ball games, they've only scored 1 field goal in the South Carolina, Navy, and Georgia Tech game. They've been a first half ball club, hard-pressed to try to stop them in the second half.
And at halftime, we'll be going to our colleague Bill Fleming here at Notre Dame Stadium for the halftime activities. And we'll be hearing from Vern Lundquist, the Harvard-Yale game, and Steve Zabriskie at Pitt Stadium. Number 1 Panthers hosting West Virginia. Joe Restic gets the kickoff. It is fielded by Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome of Alabama, a junior from Layton, Alabama, and the first half has ended, and the Notre Dame fans here are delighted with the 21-7 score. Coach Paul Bear Bryant headed for the locker room with his team. And there he is, walking as straight as an arrow. And he has been around many, many seasons, Era. 19 years at Alabama after years at Kentucky, Texas A&M, as we go down to Bill Fleming.
All right, thank you, Chris. And I have Dan Devine with me. Coach, you must be very pleased with a 14-point lead, and that passing attack has been terrific.
Well, I'm more proud than I am pleased, Bill. I'm a little concerned. I noticed that Hunter had to be helped in here off the field at halftime, and we're just not in a position to do any more juggling. But I am proud of our young men, and they're doing a good job. We just have to keep the momentum going.
You know, that's a good point, because Notre Dame this year has had a bogged-down situation in, the last 3 ball games in the second half. You're
not necessarily been bogged down, Bill.
Well, I mean, the scoring production has not been what you wanted.
We haven't played good field position football, but our opponents have played extremely well, and we just want to come out now and play a good second half. I believe that Alabama, of course, is a very proud team, just like we are, and they're going to come out battling, and we have to too. And all I can say is I'm proud of what our people have done, but we need another 30 minutes, and then we'll be prouder.
Okay. I know you want to get back to your team. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. We'll be back with the Fireman's Fund flashback and more of our halftime activities right after this pause for station identification.
Saturday.
A dog stole your purse?
A canine crook puts Holmes and Yo-Yo in the doghouse.
What do you want us to do, stake out every hydrant in town?
And the premiere of What's Happening.
I'm the greatest. No one can stop me.
Football's biggest superstar is born. Then the stars of NBC, CBS, and ABC battle it out in a Superstar Olympics.
This is it, baby.
The battle of the network stars right after Holmes and Yo-Yo and What's Happening.
Tonight starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on ABC.
Personalities of tomorrow.
It's your face, let chick love it. It's your face, let chick love it. It's your face, let chick love it.
Push, pull, click, click. The Schick injector system loves your face this quick. Push, pull, click, click, and you lock a Teflon-coated blade into place for a really smooth, close shave.
It's your face, let chick love it.
Schick injector system, regular or twin blades.
Ever since people started recording information, there's been a need to duplicate it.
Very nice work, Brother Dominic. Thank you. Very nice. Now, I would like 500 more sets.
Brother Dominic, how are you?
Could you do a big job for me?
The Xerox 9200 duplicating system, unlike anything we've ever made, feeds and cycles originals, has a computerized programmer that controls the entire system, can duplicate, reduce, and assemble a virtually limitless number of complete sets, and does it all at an incredible 2 pages per second.
Here are your sets, Father. The 500 sets you asked for.
It's a miracle.
Tonight, the battle of the network stars as ABC, NBC, and CBS compete not for ratings, but for first place on the athletic field.
I've never had such stage fright in my life.
I feel good. I feel clean. I think we're going to do it. I think we got the championship this time.
But this is it, baby.
Tonight on ABC.
In South Bend, Indiana, 21-7 Notre Dame leading at halftime. We go back down to the sideline to our colleague, Bill Fleming.
All right, and I'm with Paul Bear Bryant, who has perspiration all over him right now. Coach, it's been a tough first half.
Yeah, it sure has, Bill. They've taken the ball and kept it on us like with a Bush League team. Everything we went through, they made us look bad. We hadn't had the ball at all. If we can stop them and get the ball, we have a chance. Otherwise, it won't be a contest.
Did that double wing bother you at all?
But everything is gun bothers. We ain't contained anything. We haven't rushed anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Great line. He said, everything they've done bothers me. How about that, Harold?
I'm familiar with that.
Bear Bryant from Fordyce, Arkansas. Okay, the fans here, they're really out in numbers on the field now as the Notre Dame team comes back in their navy blue jerseys and those gleaming gold helmets in the sunshiny afternoon. And Arrow, that first half, well, can you believe the total yardage of the Fighting Irish?
Unbelievable, Chris. You consider the Irish rushed for 156 yards and passed for 210 for 366 yards. And when you consider the fact that there was a fumble in the end zone, which was a great break for the Alabama ball club, and then there was a missed field goal, the score could very well be 31-7 in this first half. So it was quite a performance by the Irish here this afternoon.
Alabama, number 7 in the nation in total defense, averaging 230, and as Era said already, 366 yards, 156 rushing, 210 passing for Slager. 12 of 19, 208 yards, and 1 touchdown to Dan Kelleher. 80-yard drive for the first Notre Dame score, a 56-yard scoring play, Slager to Kelleher. Then Notre Dame went 60 yards in 9 plays, Hunter scoring. Alabama came back to go 77 yards in 12 plays as O'Rear scored, and then Notre Dame 72 yards in 9 plays as the referee Bob Fallon has the tri-captains of Alabama and the co-captains of Notre Dame. There we should point out one of the co-captains is different today than has been throughout the season.
Right. Mark McLean was suspended from the squad last week. Apparently had missed a meeting a couple of weeks ago after the Navy game, and then apparently was out after curfew before the Georgia Tech game, and has been suspended from the team. One of those difficult decisions to make, but of course, coach has to have discipline, and it's one of those things that you have to do.
Right. So the co-captains for this game today, Willie Fry, number 94, and number 35, Jim Weiler, a tight end. And here we go now with the second half. Notre Dame, having defeated Alabama twice in bowl games and coached by Ara Parsegian. And Ara, there's a book coming out on Friday that I really look forward to. And your right-hand guy, Tom Pagna, and Notre Dame's own Bob Best have a book coming out called Notre Dame's Era of Era.
Right. Well, Chris, Tom Pagna is a pretty talented guy and played for me when I was at Miami of Ohio, and one of those exacting fellas that kept a diary during our entire 11 years at the University of Notre Dame, and has written a book that includes the documentation and history and all the anecdotes that go with the 11 years, and says some things about me probably that he shouldn't have said.
Well,
much too kind,
okay.
Really, because I wasn't that easy going. I was a pretty tough guy to live with.
Dave Reed is teeing up the ball. The deep receivers, Tony Nathan and Lou Eichner. Calvin Culliver is back here on the left of your screen. On the right side of the field is Reed, the kicker. Gives the signal that he is ready to get the second half underway, and the clock will start the minute the ball is touched. Don't forget, following the Prudential College scoreboard, Texas A&M and Arkansas. Bud Wilkinson, Keith Jackson are down there poised to bring you that game in this long afternoon of action. And the same thing next week when you stop and think of Michigan, Ohio State. Will be followed by SC UCLA, as ABC brings you the best in exclusive coverage of NCAA college football. Alabama fans, outnumbered, are trying their best to get their voices heard. It's a low, tough kick. Getting it is Eichner at the 12, 15, 20, 25, spinning. And a hard shoe-high tackle put on by number 41, Tom Dubonetsky. All right, with the ball now out at the 22. Let's take a look at the Alabama offensive unit. You see Lazenby, Green, Jones, Jarasemchuk, and Bunch. All right, in the backfield of Rutledge, 11. Nathan, 22. Culliver, 33. Davis, 38. Flanagan, 87. And Newsom, number 82. A first down at about the 22. And Rutledge is starting the second half. And it's a wide open pass play to number 87, Flanagan. Rutledge, who started the game, O'Rear took over, is back in the quarterbacking the team.
I don't know what happened there. Bergmeyer, the defensive right halfback, I think was supposed to cover on that. They came to two tight ends, split the right halfback out. Watch here. He fakes to the fullback up the middle and rolls away with a guard coming and pulling to support him. And then he delivers right on the mark here. He was wide open, no underneath coverage.
All right, a 24-yard pass play. First and 10 now for Alabama. They trail 7-21. And there's more the type of running that Johnny Davis is famous for. Johnny Davis, number 38, 6'1", 225, gets into Notre Dame territory to the 46.
And he's nicknamed the Bull, and rightfully so. He really stomped in there that time, picked up 8 yards. The Irish shut him off pretty good in the first half, but by golly, they're off to a good start in the beginning of this third period.
He had 11 carries in the first half for only 29 yards. Now with a 2nd and 2 from the Notre Dame 46, Alabama. Rutledge over the middle to Newsom. Ozzie Newsom, number 82. And it was almost an old-fashioned leap forward pass. Well done.
It was a run-action pass again. He was looking for the deep man. They had him covered well, and Ozzie came underneath, and there was no one in front or behind him. He was wide open.
All right. It advances to the 33 as we're having some electrical problems on the scoreboard and our monitors as well. So a little problem out on the field and up here. But we can tell you that the ball is at the 33 with a 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Rutledge. And again, Ozzie Newsome of Layton, Alabama, the junior, catches the pass, is covered by sophomore Joe Restick, the free safety. Isolated replay coming up. Number 82, Ozzie Newsome, was the man that ran a fine pass pattern.
And the other thing, too, Joe Restick, you know, his dad is the coach at Harvard, and they got that big game against Yale.
So now Alabama has come to the 22, picking up 11 yards on that last play. Ozzie Newsome is to the right side of the field, number 82. Rutledge. And reaching up to pull in the ball, Luther Bradley, number 20. It was intended for Newsome, and Bradley has come up with the interception here that gets the ball for Notre Dame back out at the 20.
Boy, that was a sensational interception. Let's watch it here. Notre Dame is in the blitz. They got single coverage on, which means Bradley's got to stay right with him. There's the throw. Look at that catch by Bradley. What a super catch, and of course the ball comes out to the 20.
Former basketball player at Muncie High School, before you brought him to Notre Dame. Okay, with a 1st and 10 at the 20, Bradley with his 2nd interception of the year. Notre Dame has the ball, leading 21-7. We're in the opening moments of the 3rd quarter. Al Hunter, in traffic, gets up to pull it in as we watch the interception once more.
Here, there's the throw. Now, if you'll watch Luther Bradley reach out with his right hand, right there, super catch. Now, actually, his momentum carries him into the end zone, and the ball is rightfully placed out at the 20.
2nd down and 4 now from the 26. That's Hunter in motion. And carrying the ball is a spectacular freshman who showed us plenty in the first half, Vegas Ferguson.
One of the things to watch in the second half is Bill Fleming, of course, asked Dan Devine at the halftime regarding the past 3 games. The Irish have had trouble getting on the scoreboard in the second half of games.
Now this is a 3rd down coming up for Notre Dame. Out of the lineup is Kelleher. Number 35 comes into the lineup, Jim Weiler. 3rd down and about 1.5 feet, it appears, Era. And Slager of Columbus, Ohio, Rick Slager, knifes through. Should have the 1st down, but
yeah,
there it is. Signaled by the referee, Robert Fallon. Good blocking by the center, Dave Huffman of Dallas, Texas. The only player on the Notre Dame team that wears the old-fashioned high-top shoes. So now, with the ball at the 30, 1st and 10, Notre Dame leading 21-7. Ferguson again. Ferguson, who scored one of the Notre Dame touchdowns, the last, as a matter of fact, going 17 yards for the rushing touchdown.
The strength of that Alabama team is in the interior, where Notre Dame tried to attack it there with Baumhauer and Hanna and Gus White, returning veterans from the last couple of years.
All right, it's a 2nd down and 6 now for Notre Dame. Moving up into the slot, Hunter. Ferguson is the lone setback in the double wing formation. A man in motion, Hunter. Marker is down. Hunter sidelining it up to about the 44, but let's see what the penalty would be as Mike Kramer forced Hunter out of bounds.
I think the fullback was in motion. I think Vegas Ferguson just started the move before the ball, and looks like a motion penalty, I believe.
That was a 2nd down and 6 call. There you see the shift violation by the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, leading 21-7. And we can't give you the exact time remaining because the electrical scoreboard has a malfunction and they're not showing it. But it is the 3rd quarter, early in the 3rd quarter, of the Notre Dame-Alabama game. And now the marking off of the penalty, coming back to the 29, where it'll be 2nd down and 11. There's the scoreboard, and now they've got the clock running. Good. 10:14 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hunter again. Necktie tackle by Barry Krause, number 77. Let's go down and hear from Bill Fleming.
Track, Chris, of the game in Ann Arbor, and at halftime there, Michigan now leads 21-7. The Wolverines score with just 23 seconds to go in that first half on a Rick Leach pass, a 7-yarder. So, with a 14-point lead, Michigan will go into the third quarter. All right,
Bill, are you ready for next week's Ohio State-Michigan game?
Well, next week, of course, is the big one, and we'll all be there. Chris, I might mention that there was a rumor in Ann Arbor today in the press box that Woody Hayes of Ohio State would announce his resignation either Friday night or Saturday morning next week in order to psych up the Buckeyes against the Wolverines. Now, we called Columbus, and they have no confirmation of that at all. They've never heard it. So it's just one of those wild rumors. And actually, who needs any psyching up in that game, right?
Well, he's a student of warfare in the past, and psychological warfare it is. Well, let's see what happens. All right, it's a first down for the Fighting Irish. With 9:58 remaining in the third quarter, Notre Dame is in the lead over Alabama, 21-7, and the Fighting Irish have the ball just across the 40.
And Chris, you know, you hear about the games are won in the trenches, and certainly the Fighting Irish have controlled that line of scrimmage all afternoon. Once again, a great play call by Rick Slager, the Alabama team expecting a pass, and he ran Vegas Ferguson right up the middle.
Into the double wing with Hunter in motion. And Ferguson, showing great balance, comes across the 45 to the 46. About a 6-yard gain for the freshman.
He's reading the daylight well. The play was designed to go off tackle to the right, and everybody's pursuing over there, and then he reads it back against those blocks, and he's picking up really positive yardage.
2nd down and 4 now for Notre Dame. This is the first time that Notre Dame has had the ball here in the second half. Alabama was moving, but Luther Bradley of the Fighting Irish intercepted a pass, a Rutledge pass. And this time Hunter is stopped right about at the line of scrimmage. Barry Krause, who's showing us a lot of lateral movement today for the Tide. There he is, number 77 of Pompano Beach, Florida, 6'3", 220. He seems to be everywhere today.
Hunter has carried 13 times this afternoon for 75 yards, and he's over that 800 mark now for the season.
Following this game, Prudential College scoreboard with Dave Dials and Warner Wolf, and then we'll go to Little Rock for complete coverage of the Texas A&M Arkansas game. Keith Jackson, Bud Wilkinson. Tom Doman back in the lineup from Villa Park, Illinois, number 26, carrying on a 3rd and 4 situation.
I think he just got it. He got back. He had to go past the line at the midfield stripe, and I think he's got another first down, just as they had on the previous attempt. It was right on the mark again.
The Mason-Dixon line has been crossed for the first time in 30 years, as Bear Bryant and the Crimson Tide are up north now. And the last time they did it, they went to Boston College for a game in 1946.
That's a long time ago.
And the first time they did it in 1928 as Notre Dame gets another first down, leading 21-7. Dan Devine has coached against Bear Bryant only once, and it was Missouri beating Alabama in the 1968 Gator Bowl, which I did, 35-10.
Right, and I recall that game. I think I saw it, Chris. And yes. They made a lot of yardage on the ground.
So now the Fighting Irish, they are just in Alabama territory with the first down. The man in motion, Al Hunter, gets the call at the 46. We're going to leave South Bend for a moment to go to Cambridge, Massachusetts for the Yale-Harvard game. Vern Lundquist is there, and here's his report.
We welcome our Alabama-Notre Dame audience to Harvard Stadium here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Yale has just tied up the football game. A 5-yard touchdown run from fullback Mike Southworth following a short Harvard punt has notched the score at 7-7, and Yale has just kicked off for the first time, ironically enough, in the football game. 7-7, we've got 6:26 remaining in the third quarter. And Columbia is leading Brown down at Baker Field 17-7. If Columbia wins and Yale wins the Ivy League championship.
While we were away, we mentioned this man, number 77, Barry Krause, on the only snap that you didn't see. Slager went back to pass, and Krause intercepted.
Right, Rick Slager, it's the only poor throw that he's had today, and incidentally, this Barry Krause has intercepted 3 in high school and ran them back as for touchdowns, and there's another example of what he's capable of doing. Big break for Alabama.
And they have the ball at the Notre Dame 30 with a 1st and 10. Newsom is the split end. Rutledge is the quarterback. Ross Browner made the defensive play for the Fighting Irish, and there is a loss of 3 yards on the play, catching the quarterback, Jeff Rutledge.
They were in a very aggressive defense where they send both the corner man and the rover back, who they play on the line of scrimmage, and they really come after the quarterback, and they try to lock up the triple option before it can develop.
Alabama has to take advantage of this opportunity here now. We're in the 3rd quarter, 7:04 to go, and they trail 7-21. Rutledge, 2nd and 13. Rutledge, who has a great percentage as a passer, is not Alabama's top runner. But Ross Browner could stop most any runner in football, I would believe, just as he did there. And he picks up 2 yards of the previous loss, so it's going to be a 3rd down and 11.
Right, and I'd have to say I'd match Ross Browner against just about any defensive end in the country. I think he's a super player.
One of the 3 Browner boys on the Notre Dame team, as we have a 3rd and 11 now, 6:26 to go. 3rd quarter, Notre Dame 21, Alabama 7, and with the ball. Oh, a little shovel job to number 20, Pete Cavan. Inside the 25, and the door was closed by Jim Browner, Ross's brother.
They're all over the field. That was a little gadget that Alabama pulled off that time, and Jim Browner can play both offense and defense, and incidentally, he's a black belt karate owner.
Look at this score. Northwestern 10, Michigan State nothing in the 1st quarter.
Wow, that's a surprise, and they need that.
Now, here's a big play. Alabama has a 4th down and about 4 at the 24, and they're going for it from the I. And number 82, Newsom, gets the 1st down on a razzle-dazzle.
That's that same play, the misdirection off of the wishbone, with the end coming around this time is the option man, the 3rd option man, and he is really some kind of football. He started every game in high school, and he was the freshman of the year.
And Bear Bryant told me, no, Chris, we don't have any dipsy doodle plays today.
He's showing a few, isn't he? Those are the last
yeah.
2 that they've really bailed him out.
All right, Newsom. All right, Newsom had only 1 rush before, and that was for 4 yards. So he gets the 1st and 10 at the 14, and Rutledge is hit by Jim Browner, number 33.
He really came in there and made a super tackle.
Loss of 1, 2nd down and 11 coming up, and the tempo of the game's beginning to pick up a little bit here, Era.
Sure. I'll tell you one thing, we know those 2 Browners are down there in that defense.
And Willard is the other, and he's an offensive back. Got into the lineup a couple of times in the 1st half. The Notre Dame put 3 touchdowns on the board, scoring 2, and then Alabama came back, and Navy is leading Georgia Tech in the 2nd quarter, 16-7.
Wasn't this a wild year?
George Wells, the midshipman, having a day. 4:48 to go, 3rd quarter, 2nd down and 11. Rutledge, number 11. Ooh, Thad Flanagan was the intended receiver, and guess who was chasing Rutledge? Mr. Browner. Ross Browner, that is.
So is Steve Heimkreider, too. You can watch Newsom come off of here, but you've got double coverage in here. He's well covered. Rustic is in front of him, Bergmeyer behind. And, of course, I think the quarterback makes the right decision by throwing the ball out of bounds because there was no one open.
Bear may have sent in a play because he has now Jackal Rare in a quarterback. He's a better runner, replacing Rutledge for the moment.
And you've got Bama's only 1 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Let's see what happens here.
This is 3rd and 11.
No change.
No change. Ross Browner and 79 Ken Dyke. Woo! Notre Dame
might settle for the 3 here. I think he's going to go for the field goal.
So the loss moves the ball to the 22. Loss of 7, so it's 4th down and 18. And Bucky Berry is going to try a field goal. He has 4 of 10. This will be the first try by Alabama. Notre Dame in the 1st series missed a 29-yarder. With a little following wind, Sid Smith will center the ball to Rutledge. And this is going to be a 39-yard attempt. Make it 38. It's up. It's long enough. It's through the uprights. So, Alabama with a field goal with 4:05 to go, leading Notre Dame leading 21-10.
Chevrolet announces a $200 cash bonus direct from Chevrolet on every new Chevy Vega and Chevy Chevette. Delivered from stock by January 10th, 1977, or ordered by December 10th, 1976. This $200 cash bonus applies regardless of purchase price agreed on at dealership. It can be used against the down payment, or a check for $200 will come to you from Chevrolet. So see your Chevrolet dealer now for a $200 cash bonus on Vega and Chevette.
This rig is attached to a strap woven from Flex 10 tire cord. Flex 10, a Goodyear exclusive. Tire cord is the main reinforcing agent in a tire.
Flex 10 tire cord is made from a man-made aramid fiber that is pound for pound stronger than steel. Tensile strength is only one of many properties in a tire, but it's one of the most important. Here, Flex 10 lifts over 47,000 pounds. Flex 10, the tire cord of the future from Goodyear. Next, ABC Sports continues its coverage of outstanding NCAA football with the Southwest Conference battle between Texas A&M and Arkansas live from Little Rock. Join Keith Jackson, Bud Wilkinson, and Jim Lampley for all the color and excitement next on ABC.
The winningest active coaches team, Alabama, has just kicked a 38-yard field goal to make the score Notre Dame 21, Alabama 10. We'll have Barry, who kicked the field goal, now kicking to either Al Hunter or Terry Urick of Notre Dame.
Hey, I don't know whether he's going to try an onside kick or not, but he's sure looking at that angle.
They're all looking into a very bright sun now, Era.
They're trying to kick away from Hunter here, Chris.
Right.
Give it to Urick. Urick's pretty good back. He can run.
5, 10, 15. Upended and falling forward to the 20-yard line. Upended by number 44, Donnie Faust of Alabama. Let's go down to Bill Fleming.
All right, in that very tight Big 8 race this year, Missouri is leading Oklahoma by the score of 7-3. A pass from Pete Wood to Leo Lewis, and then Oklahoma came back with a 35-yard field goal. And we'll have another one here for you in just a minute, Chris.
Okay, Bill. For Notre Dame, it's a 1st and 10 at about their 20, leading 21-10 with 3:58 to go third quarter. Slager to Hunter. Barry Krause is really being active today, the sophomore, along with Phil Allman, number 34, in on Hunter. And the ball, we have a player shaken up now. Phil Allman, who helped make the tackle, goes off the field, number 34. So Notre Dame now with a 2nd down and 8 at their own 22. Vegas Ferguson caught for a, well, probably gained 1 yard on the play.
He's over, excuse me, Chris, he's over 100 yards already.
What a wonderful afternoon he's having. The freshman from Richmond, Indiana. And there you see his quarterback, Rick Slager, the senior from Columbus, Ohio.
I think this is a big down here, Chris, because otherwise Alabama will get great field position if they hold here.
3rd and 5.
We'll draw. No, didn't get it.
And trying to make the first down was Ferguson. Barry Krause, number 77, tripped him up. So it is now, Era, a kicking situation for Notre Dame.
You know, Chris, this is one of the things that's happened to the Irish in the second half of most of the games. It looks like the pattern is following here again. They get out to a lead, and they've only been able to put 1 field goal on the board in the last 3 games. And it looks like they're following that same pattern, at least in this quarter.
All right, kicking now for Notre Dame from Milford, Massachusetts, son of the Harvard football coach, Joe Restic. Restic has a 38-yard average today. Gets one high. Isn't that a pretty one? Newsom has it. And Newsom is stopped in a hurry by number 60, Howard Meyer of San Jose, California. We'll return. First, this pause.
Every year, the same thing. Nothing new for fathers, only for kids. But this year, a great new idea from Lionel. It's Power Passers, the fantastic new slotless racers that change lanes. They change lanes. It's called Snap Steer. Snap the trigger, car steers to the right. Snap again, it steers to the left. Hey, kid, don't mess with a pro. It's the greatest invention since the electrical cooker train. Lionel's new Power Passers. Everything that the others have and a whole lot more.
Hey, look, I want to show you something great. This coffee maker from Norelco, the Dollar Brew. You know, other drip coffee makers are set at the factory their way. But with the Norelco Dial-A-Brew, you dial to the taste you want. Light, medium, dark. Isn't that terrific? Pay less, pay more, but you can't buy a finer coffee maker.
Norelco has a line of Dial-A-Brew coffee makers for you to choose from.
And only Norelco has Dial-A-Brew.
All right, now, Alabama cheerleaders here. Some of the 5,000 Alabama fans at Notre Dame. Capacity crowd. We're at the 2-minute and 7-second mark of the third quarter. Notre Dame leading 21-10. Following a rustic punt, Alabama has the ball, 1st and 10 at the 32, and the quarterback will be the passer, Jeff Rutledge, number 11, the sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. And the Notre Dame cheerleaders. Yes, sir. Ladies
Excitement going
on the campus here at Notre Dame.
They sure are.
All right, now with a flanker to the near side of the field, that's Thad Flanagan. Let's watch Rutledge. Browner trying to get on him. He goes to the opposite side, and he finds Newsom at the 41 or 2. I don't believe quite enough for the first down. Jim Browner, number 33, the sophomore, made the tackle at the 41. That was a 9.5-yard gain. Second down coming up.
Notre Dame was in a man-to-man coverage, and Newsom came underneath the men that drove them off. And looks like they'll be putting the ball up in the air a little more.
Okay, Bill Fleming.
Chris, I was going to give you a score on that Maryland-Clemson game. Maryland leading 14-0, and as you know, they're 7th ranked in the country.
All right, thank you.
Still perfect record.
Yes. On a 2nd and inches, Calvin Culliver for Alabama tried to make it.
Close.
Close.
No, I guess it is
Out
the first
they go.
down.
Yes.
No measurement. Bob Golik's playing some kind of game in there. You know, he's an NCAA wrestling finalist. He can do a lot of things. 6'3", 239. He's played very well for the Irish this year.
From Willowick, Ohio, a sophomore. Bob Golik, number 55. Notre Dame with 19 first downs. Alabama with 13. At the half, it was 16-8. So from the 43, big pileup on Calvin Culliver. One of them was 77, Mike Calhoun. And now getting up number 79, Ken Dyke, and there is a name that we have called throughout the day.
Right, the interior line, both Ken Dyke and Mike Calhoun have played very well, and of course Ross Browner on the front. And the consistency of the interior line play, because they've really shut Davis off.
Well, Alabama has some strong cheerleaders. Anybody can hold that young lady up with one hand shows me a lot. All right, 2nd and 8. And busting out is Rick Watson into Notre Dame territory. He's the senior, just in the lineup from Birmingham, Alabama. First down for the Tide, and they're rolling.
It's just a little delayed draw in there. Rick Watson's got great balance and has that knack of getting the needed yardage. This is what the Alabama coaches told me yesterday.
Watson with a 4.6 average come into the game. That was his 38th carry of the year, used sparingly. So now from the Notre Dame 45, Alabama scored a 38-yard field goal a few moments ago. And a pass out here to Thad Flanagan. And Flanagan is across the 30. Luther Bradley covering him on the play.
You'll watch, Bradley is taking away the inside, the post away from him, and forcing him to the outside. Actually, Flanagan pushed off there. The ball is well thrown. And Luther just can't quite get there.
And Flanagan got up and was upset that he was even touched because he wanted to go all the way. Well, we're in the final 2 seconds of the third quarter. And there is the end of the third quarter here at Notre Dame Stadium on a beautiful afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the Notre Dame-Alabama game.
If you take pictures and you like color, get ready. Your instant is here from Kodak. Introducing Kodak Instant Cameras and Film. In minutes, they give you clean, dry, instant pictures with color by Kodak.
Can you feel our brand new
Kodak Instant Cameras and Film at your photo dealers now.
Waiter, I was wondering about these little stuffed mush.
When nobody hears you, that's the time to get a Cobra CB radio.
Breaker 19, this is the wild one. Come on.
Because with a Cobra, Everybody hears you.
How you doing, Wild One? All right.
I read you loud and clear, Wild One.
When it comes to CB radio, punch through loud and clear with a Cobra.
He was rebel, hero, villain, and legend. He was Patton.
In the background, left center of your screen, the magnificent Notre Dame Library here on the South Bend Notre Dame campus. 59,075, another sellout. Watching the Fighting Irish trying to rebound from a loss to Georgia Tech last week with a 6-2 record, going against favored Alabama coming in here with a 7-2 record. And the mosaic here, just a great work of art.
It's really a beautiful view, and not only that, but this stadium, which was built in about 1930, there was a lot of thought that went into it. It was planned well. There's not a track here, so the seats are close. We're close, and makes great viewing. And there's been some great football games played here, and we've got another quarter here that I think we're going to see some exciting football.
Ara, you've given us a lot of thrills as we've covered games here at Notre Dame Stadium over the years, as you were the coach here for 11 years. I hope we have another fourth quarter like a few I've watched you coach.
Right.
Including Alabama and Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl in 1973. Alabama with the ball, 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 30. Here's Bradley, 6 of 8 passing. Going long, Newsom is open. It's a touchdown for Alabama. 30 yards, and that tightens up the score now here in South Bend.
Coleman man-to-man coverage that time, and Rustic had to stay on Newsom, and that's a tough chore. One of the things that they did is they blocked well on the play. They blocked everybody. Watch Newsom just go down the field, make a fake to the outside, then drive back inside. Rustic gets turned. Newsom's got the action on him now, and of course the protection was there, even though Notre Dame was coming with an aggressive defense.
Well, a nice drive by Alabama, consumed 243, 68 yards in 6 plays. And Ara, again, the start of a period, we have a score.
So they're going for 2.
They go for 2. 21-16, second play of the final quarter. And they're going to get the block, and there's 2 by Newsom. Newsom, who it just figured in on 8 points for the tie. So that brings it within a field goal of a tie. Wow. We asked for an exciting fourth quarter, Ara, and we have it. We'll return as Notre Dame now leads by only 21-18.
An independent research company visited hundreds of U.S. homes and asked people to open their cameras. What did they find? More cameras were using Ever-Ready alkaline power cells than any other premium long-life power cell. Remember, for most cameras, you can't buy more reliable long-life photo batteries. Repeat, you can't buy more reliable long-life photo batteries than Ever-Ready alkaline power cells. Ever-Ready wants you to know.
Stanley salutes Olympic champions Bill and Mary Toomey.
We've really had fun working on this backyard fitness center for our little champions.
You just follow these plans from Stanley. And with Stanley tools, it's easy to do it right.
Hi. Stanley, we want to help you do things right.
And keeping fit is doing things right.
Get free plans at participating stores or write to Stanley.
We want to help you do things right.
All the excitement of college football. Bucky Berry now. He didn't have a chance to kick the extra point as Alabama was successful on 2. Now it's 21-18. Terry Urick has the ball for Notre Dame at the 10. Number 40 cuts out to the 20. Keeps his balance. He's to the 30. And he comes out to the 42. What a great run by Urick, and the kicker, Bucky Berry, made the tackle as we go to Soldier Field for the Harvard-Yale game. Here's Vern Lundquist.
And we welcome once again our Alabama-Notre Dame audience. Our score now has expanded to Yale 14, Harvard 7. John Pagliaro, a junior running back, has picked up 133 yards this afternoon, and he has gone over 1,000 for the season with 16 touchdowns. He has ignited this Yale come-from-behind the lead, and Columbia leads Brown 17-14. Yale has a 3rd down and goal. Very short yardage. Southworth, touchdown, and Yale's lead, Mike Southworth with his 2nd touchdown of the day, is now 13 points. They have gone out in front 20-7. And those are the Yale fans on the far side of Harvard Stadium. Mike Southworth with his second touchdown. It's 20-7 Yale lead.
Al Hunter just carried the ball for 5 yards for Notre Dame, making it 2nd and 5 from the 46. Vegas Ferguson carrying on the second down play. Alabama has come up with 8 points plus a field goal here in the football game. 21-10 at the end of the third quarter. The scoring, none in the first quarter. 21-7 at half. At the end of the third, 21-10, and now Alabama has come within 3 points of Notre Dame. Here's a 3rd down and 3 for the Fighting Irish. And a great pass to sure-fingered Ken McAfee for the Notre Dame first down.
Great play, but I think the significant thing that happened on this drive, here's the replay of it. Ken McAfee, after the fake by Slager, just comes underneath the linebackers, and Slager drills it in there. And I think the Uric kickoff return was very significant. He brought it out to the 41 and really helped the field position.
Good look at Ken McAfee without the helmet. He's now off to the right side of the line in a tight end position. From the 38, first down. Notre Dame driving. Barry Krause in on Al Hunter, number 77. And let's go down to Bill Fleming.
All right, let's take a check on that Big 8 race. First of all, Iowa State is leading Nebraska in the first quarter. And on the kickoff after a field goal, Nebraska fumbled. Iowa State recovered on the 1-yard line. And also in that Big 8 race, Missouri is leading Oklahoma 7-3 in the second quarter, Chris.
Okay, Bill, Notre Dame fighting back. They have a 2nd down and 11 at the 39. Leading by 3 points now. Catching the ball, Dan Kelleher, the senior from Ellensburg, Washington. They needed 11 yards, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down play here at Notre Dame Stadium. A 3rd down and about 4 with the ball at the Alabama 32.
Slager is 15 for 23.
There's that Oklahoma score. First quarter, Missouri leading Oklahoma 7-3. All the scores following this game on the Prudential College scoreboard, and then live color coverage of the Texas A&M Arkansas game. 3rd down at about 4. And getting his hand on the helmet was big Bob Baumhauer of Tuscaloosa, 6'4", 260. And it's a loss tacked on the Irish by the Alabama defense with 12:35 left in the game.
That was a big play because it was 3rd and 4, and if they'd have made any kind of yardage on that play, they might have been able to gamble on 4th down because they were in 4-down area. But here, they're going to be forced to punt. They might come up with a gadget here. Let's watch and see.
All right. But it's 4th down and 9 era.
Rustic may try to put him in a hole by kicking the ball out of bounds.
All right, 4th and 9 from the Alabama 37. Rustic at the left of your screen, limbering up that right leg. He has beautiful punting form. Ozzie Newsome, dangerous on kick returns. He's deep for Alabama. Kick is high. There is a typical example of where the punt is an effective weapon. Alabama will try to move it from inside their own 10 as we'll take a break and then return.
Remember when gasoline used to be on sale? Not anymore. But better mileage for your car still is. Tests all over the country on cars like yours prove that replacing worn plugs with fresh Champion spark plugs alone can improve your car's mileage and performance. So even though gasoline isn't on sale anymore, better mileage is. Fill her up with Champions and save.
Yes, sir. Oh, you'd like to start smoking a pipe? Well, this is a Dr. Grabo pipe. They're all mechanically pre-smoked, already broken in so you can enjoy them right away. And they come in a lot of styles and colors. And this is Borkum Riff tobacco. It packs easy and burns well. It's a smooth tobacco. And I think you'll like the taste and the aroma. Borkum Riff tobacco, Dr. Grabo pipes. Made for each other.
In our bonus coverage, we've been going to the Yale-Harvard game and to the Pitt-West Virginia game. Yale did make the extra point. Now battling for an Ivy League championship with Brown. They lead 21-7. And right here, we have a tremendous game. Hope you're enjoying it. Alabama now trailing by 3. 1st and 10 at their own 8 following a great punt by Resting. Rutledge going to the air, and here's Newsom. Newsom had gotten, or rather Thad Flanagan, excuse me, number 87, and he had gotten behind Ted Bergmeyer of East Dubuque, Illinois.
And what they're doing, I think they're audibilizing at the line of scrimmage on that. As soon as they find Notre Dame in the man-to-man coverage, they're just blocking everyone and just putting one receiver out, Thad Flanagan that time, and just trying to go one-on-one. He had him open, just overthrew him.
Okay, Era in the backfield for Alabama, 22 Nathan. Ferguson, number 32, and Watson, number 35. 2nd and 10. Rutledge right at his goal line, throwing long. Trying to go out there was number 32 for the Crimson Tide. That is Bruce Bolton. There he's coming back to the huddle. Bolton from Memphis, Tennessee, a sophomore, 5'11" and 166, and a speedster, but not fast enough.
Same thing again. They're trying to take advantage of what the defense. They got the right call on, considering the circumstances, but of course you're operating in a very dangerous area because he's throwing the ball right from the goal line or even in the end zone.
Bergmeyer's out. David Waymer, a freshman, is in. Number 34, covering for Notre Dame. And here's a 3rd and 10. And Rutledge right back at his in the end zone now. Throwing out here and trying to get that was the man we said just came in, David Waymer, who was given the assignment of covering Newsom. So, the Notre Dame defense, and the fans like it.
Well, that Ross Browner really put the heat on again that time. He really put the pressure on.
So, let's go to Bill Fleming.
Here's an update, Chris, on that West Virginia-Pitt game. West Virginia has just scored, and Pittsburgh's lead is now cut to 17-10.
All right, thank you, Bill. Rod Nelson to punt from his own end zone for Alabama. The rush by Bradley was put on. This is Ted Bergmeyer looking at the ball, and now Notre Dame will have tremendous field position. They will have it inside the Alabama 30 with 11:28 to go in the game.
And now, America, the new Chevrolet.
Now that's more like it.
More like it.
The new Chevrolet has more headroom, more rear seat legroom, and more trunk room than the largest of our full-size 76s.
Now that's more headroom.
More legroom. More trunk room.
Now that's more like it.
More like it.
The new Chevrolet has a higher EPA gas mileage rating than the 1976 full-size Chevrolets. It's also more manageable in city traffic.
Now that's more headroom. More legroom.
More trunk room. More mileage. More manageable.
Now that's more like it.
More like it.
The new Chevrolet is, we think, more beautiful, too.
Replay of the punt, and watch 20 along with Era Parsegian.
You know, we've been talking about it all day. Here comes Bradley clean again. Let's see if he gets a piece of it or not. He lays out. Yes, he did get a piece of it with his right hand. And field position belongs to the Irish.
All right, at the 26, Al Hunter draws a lot of Tide players, including Barry Krause, number 77. You'll see him at the bottom. You can count on that.
It'll be interesting to see if the Irish put it up here. They may keep it on the ground to try to go for a field goal.
Hunter now 87 yards in 18 carries. Don't forget, we'll be choosing a Chevrolet offensive and defensive player of the game. That's going to be a tough one to do. 11 minutes to go. 2nd and 8. From the 24, Ferguson tries for the Fighting Irish. Ricky Gilliland, the Birmingham, in on the tackle, along with number 91, Bob Baumhauer.
Let's go now.
So the ball now at the 22. That means it's 3rd down and 6. Notre Dame is leading Alabama 21-18.
Chris, it looks like they're trying to keep it on the ground and maybe get a field position opportunity to force a touchdown on the part of Alabama. Let's see whether he throws it or not.
The lone setback is Willard Browner, number 24. Ferguson is out. Now he blocks for Slager. Slager on the loose. A loose ball, and Alabama recovers a Notre Dame fumble. Hit hard was the fine Notre Dame quarterback, who was shaken up Rick Slager, number 11. Colenso Hubbard, number 69, covered the ball. There he is. So Alabama gets the ball back.
You see, Rick Slager comes back to the pocket. He wants to throw the football. He's flushed out of the pocket. Rolls. Let's watch the contact here. Oh, I mean, there's some real contact. Who was that? Number 23. Right here, it was Mike Kramer. Really put a hit on there.
Now Alabama, in that exchange, has picked up about 10 yards. They're at their own 18 now. 1st and 10. Trailing by 3 is Jeff Rutledge, is stopped by Joe Restic, number 7. Let's see the fumble once more.
All right, and the guy that recovers, Colenso Hubbard, and he leads the team in fumble recoveries, incidentally, with 5. There's the hit by Kramer. Hubbard gets the ball, and it is his 6th recovery.
All right, now with the ball just across the 20. Alabama has a 2nd down and 8. We have 9:47 left in the game. Notre Dame leading 21-18. And 22, Tony Nathan trying to get around the corner, the sophomore from Birmingham. Forced out by Bob Golick.
Yeah, but that's the only time that I've seen Ross Browner. He did get around Browner. Browner had him for a loss there, and I think that's the first time they've been able to fake him out.
All right, it's a 3rd down and 6 for Alabama. This is a real important one. Alabama has converted only once on 3rd down in 10 tries. So here it is, 3rd and 6. And there is that forward shovel play again to Pete Cavan. They needed 6 yards, Era.
I don't think they got it, Chris.
Oh, it's up there really, really close. The head linesman, Ed Marisich of the Big Ten and his crew, and the referee, Robert Fallon, pats his chest with both hands, and that means one thing.
Right. Coming out.
What a game between independent Notre Dame, meeting for the first time in the regular season Southeastern Conference power Alabama, and Alabama is short of a 1st down on 3rd down by that much.
Well, I think he's got to kick it. There's 9 minutes and 29 seconds left to go. There is no real percentage in going for it here because he just wind up with 1st down at the 29-yard line. I think time is in his favor. I suppose if you had less time on the clock, you would go for it. They're coming after it again. Here it is.
All right, watch number 20 at the left bottom of your screen. Rod Nelson's punt is up, and Bradley tried for it again as a fair catch is called for by Ted Bergmeyer at the 42-yard line of Notre Dame. Let's take a break in this exciting football game right now.
Put your foot down and come on into Goodyear. Put your foot down and come on into Goodyear. 'Cause Goodyear puts its foot down on prices right now.
Goodyear has put its foot down. Save 30% on Goodyear's custom power cushion polyglass white walls. America's best-selling tire at 30% off regular price. Sale ends Tuesday.
Yes, Goodyear puts its foot down on prices. And how?
What does it take to start the wheels of American industry rolling? It takes machines, men, and money. That's where savings and loans come in. Money you save with us goes back into your community in the form of home loans. The savings and loan commitment to housing generates over $100 million a day for jobs, goods, and services. Help keep America rolling by having your savings account at your savings and loan.
Next, ABC Sports continues its coverage of outstanding NCAA football with the Southwest Conference battle between Texas A&M and Arkansas live from Little Rock. Join Keith Jackson, Bud Wilkinson, and Jim Lampley for all the color and excitement next on ABC.
In addition to the A&M Arkansas game, ABC Sports presents a 2-hour primetime special, The Battle of the Network Stars. That's right, television stars from CBS, NBC, and ABC. Howard Cosell is the host. That's at 9 tonight. Rusty Lish is in the lineup at quarterback for Notre Dame because, as we indicated, Slager was shaken up on the fumble. He hands off to Ferguson from the 43. Ferguson is out to about the 46, the Notre Dame 46. About 9 minutes to go. Notre Dame leading Alabama 21-18.
And that fumble was very significant because The Irish had good field position, probably would have come up with a possible field goal, but now the ball is clear back in the Irish territory.
The Alabama defense has held Notre Dame scoreless here in the second half. The halftime score was 21-7. Now 2nd and 7 from the 46. Lish to number 32, Vegas Ferguson, as Gus White was in on the tackle, and right near the action on the sideline is Bill Fleming.
There is a big upset in the making in the Ivy League, and it has a great bearing on the race. Columbia is leading Brown, which was tied with Yale going into today's action, 17-7. Now Yale is leading Harvard 21-7 with 8:50 to go. So if things remain that way, it looks like the Yaleys have the Ivy League championship, Chris.
And we've just received word from the bench that Rick Slager, the fine Notre Dame quarterback, has a shoulder injury and will not be back in the game. So now it's up to sophomore Rusty Lish, number 6, of Belleville, Illinois. And look at that. Well.
That's what we call a quarterback naked. All the faking and everything went to the left, and he just kept the ball to the right, got the corner. There was no contain, and what a big play.
Had an impressive spring here on the Notre Dame campus, moving him into contention. Was quite a track and basketball star while at Belleville, Illinois. Enrolled in the College of Fine Arts, and let's see what Rust will do now. Rusty Lish, number 6. 1st and 10 at the Alabama 32. 7:52 left in the game. Ferguson, those are hard-earned yards. That Alabama defense. In 91 is Bob Baumhauer of Tuscaloosa, senior, joined by Charlie Hanna, number 51. His brother was John Hanna, now playing for New England, and he has a younger brother on this Alabama team as well.
And he also was the ABC defensive player against Auburn last year.
I'm going to let you and Bill Fleming choose the offensive and defensive players today, or I've been too busy. 2nd down and 7 now from the 29. Notre Dame with the ball. Tough break as Hunter lost his footing.
Really was.
Yeah, on a perfectly groomed, conditioned football field, natural grass.
Just first time.
Let's go to Bill Fleming.
All right, let's bring people up to date on the Big 8 race. First of all, Iowa State is leading Nebraska by the score of 17-7. And that game is now in the second quarter. So that was the first quarter score, but it's now in the second quarter. And in the other Big 8 game, in the second quarter, Oklahoma and Missouri are tied 10-10. Okay, Chris.
All right, Bill, Notre Dame now for its 15th third down try. They are 7 of 14. 3rd and 10, a big one. Lish. Trapped. Tom Doman, the intended receiver. The pass was just a little short. So that brings up now a 4th down and 10 era. And
Dave Reed will, I think they'll go for the field goal here. Here's the replay on it. Doman just breaks to the outside. The ball is underthrown by Lish just a little bit. He makes a great effort for it, but the ball just hits the ground. And of course, it looks like about a 48-yard field goal.
Yes, with Restic holding. Dave Reeve has been warming up on the sideline. We've been watching him. It's going to be a pretty good attempt, and no good. So the spot of the kick, 38 plus the 10 of the end zone, no good. 6:17 to go, and the game will return in a moment.
Time up, done! Hey, man, you need a new stick.
Now, Alan, what did the people need?
Dr. Franklin, you need a new stick.
A what?
New Right Guard deodorant stick. It's the only stick that gives you that famous Right Guard all-day odor protection. The same all-day protection that's made Right Guard the #1 men's deodorant for years. Keep it.
Thank you.
Hey, Slick, you need a new stick.
Right Guard deodorant stick for all-day odor protection.
Baby, it's cold outside. This is Bob, baby. It's cold hope for Texaco. If your old furnace keeps stopping or doesn't function properly, don't just keep getting service. Replace it now with a dependable Fuel Chief heating unit from Texaco. Only Fuel Chief has this seal of approval, earned by exacting performance tests at Texaco's Research Center. For your dealer's name, call 800-243-6000. Baby, it's cold outside.
exciting game here at Notre Dame. Hope you're enjoying it. We have 6:17 to go in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame leading 21-18. They just missed on a 48-yard field goal. Alabama has held Notre Dame scoreless here in the second half. Alabama now from their own 20. Jeff Rutledge is the quarterback. Thad Flanagan. Flanagan out to about the 34, where Bob Golick is in on the tackle for the Fighting Irish.
It's just a little quick screen. He comes downfield, then comes behind the tackle coming out for his protection. Watch the blocker come out. The left tackle comes out, which is J.K. Glastonbury. He sets a block on Bergmeyer, and it's a first down.
There's Thad Flanagan of Layton, Alabama, 6'2", 185, a senior. He is to the near side of the field on a 1st and 10 from the Alabama 34, Rutledge. Bradley covering on the far side, covering Pete Cavan of Thomaston, Georgia, number 20. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10. Alabama providing the excitement, scoring excitement era here in the second half, getting a touchdown and then going for 2 and by the same man.
If you had any time that Ross Browner put a lot of pressure on again. He's really rushing the passer. And you're right, in this second half, Alabama's come back. Let's see whether or not they can move the ball downfield. You wonder whether or not if they get into field goal position, whether they'll go for the score or the touchdown, or the field goal or the touchdown.
Very good. 2nd down and 10 for Jeff Rutledge. On a delay and a staggering run by Tony Nathan. He breaks away. He was stalled by Joe Restic. Finally made the tackle, but did you see that move by Nathan?
How did he get out of that traffic? It looked like he was stopped there. He shook him. Watch, it's a little delayed draw. The quarterback comes out, and then he gives the ball to Nathan. He comes underneath. Looks like he stopped right there. Shakes loose, and finally is knocked out of bounds.
Alabama has moved from its own 20 to the Notre Dame 48 in 3 snaps. 1st down now. Going to the far side is Flanagan, number 87. 82 and number 8, Rick Neal, are changing positions as Rutledge wants to throw. In traffic, it's caught by Ozzie Newsome, who's caught the touchdown pass and then ran the 2-point play in. Ozzie Newsome, number 82, Browner and Bergmeyer on the tackle.
What a catch. Ozzie Newsome just drives right straight down the field, looks over his left shoulder. Looked like the Irish had it covered. Right there, Bergmeyer turns his back on it. Newsome goes up, takes the ball out of the air, and a 1st down at the 9.
You know what makes it even more remarkable, Era? He was looking into a bright sun, and that may have affected the defenders a little bit. They thought it was going to come a little longer.
Well, Bergmeyer got turned. Number 18 got turned, and he probably didn't see the ball.
All right, it'll be a 1st and goal for Alabama, trailing by 3 with 4:57 left in the game. Don't go away.
1st and goal, Notre Dame 9, 4th quarter, Irish lead by 3. A fake, a handoff, the run by Nathan. He is down to about the 7-yard line, maybe the 6. He tried the left tackle. Off the bottom of the pile is Bergmeyer, the strong safety. Jim Browner was also on the stop. It will now be 2nd and goal from the 7. Alabama is challenging. 2nd and goal from the 7. Rutledge is rolling out. He looks. He's going to trigger into the end zone. It's intercepted by Jim Browner. Jim Browner intercepts for Notre Dame. For a 2nd time, the Irish intercept in the end zone. The Notre Dame student body, part of it, pours out onto the field to salute Jim Browner as the Alabama drive is stopped and Notre Dame takes over the football with a 3-point lead. And Cavan was open all alone in the far corner. The quarterback Rutledge had all the time in the world on that play. No rush, but he threw it right into Jim Browner's arms. The heat is on Notre Dame now as Alabama's defense is all charged up. Here's a handoff to Hunter. He's knocked down for a loss. Alabama charges through and gets Al Hunter, but the clock runs. 4 minutes and 8 seconds to go. Gus White, the middle guard, knocked him down for no gain. And I know what Diane Devine is thinking right now. He wants his offensive line to clear the way now. He wants to control the ball and the clock now for these next few minutes against Alabama. Of course, they'd like to keep the drive right down the field. They could never give up the ball again because Alabama's been moving it in the second half. Notre Dame leading 21-18. Here's the snap. She's going to throw. Timing pattern in the flat. The ball was almost intercepted. It was picked up on the 1 hop by Phil Allman. So Lish gambled through in the flat. If Ballman had intercepted the ball, Bama would have had it 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 20.
Well, you recall the interception by Jim Browner. Jim Browner also did that down in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina, where an interception at the end of the game won it.
No, they're not calling a timeout now. Look like they have too many men on the field. Lish is rolling out. He's going to run across the 20. He's across the 25, across the 30, and up to the 35-yard line. Rusty Lish runs ahead for a 1st down. A 20-yard gain on the play and a 1st down by sophomore Rusty Lish. The clock runs and Notre Dame maintains possession.
Very, very important run by Rusty Lish from Belleville, Illinois. Lish has rushed for 41 yards on only 2 carries. Wow.
Huffman down over the ball at center. The ball just across the Notre Dame 35-yard line. Hand up to Vegas Ferguson. The Alabama defense viciously attacks the ball, looking for the football. But Vegas Ferguson, the freshman from Richmond, Indiana.